What do you understand racism to mean? How would you define that, or segregation? Would you say you're a segregationist?
Yes, and I believe, in my term, my definition of segregation is, that is, a segregationist is a person that loves his race enough, or other races enough, has enough racial pride and integrity to want to preserve them. And I think a racist is one that doesn't care enough for his race or another race to where they don't care whether they're amalgamated or destroyed or not.
Then can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Are you familiar with the black Muslims in this country?
Not too familiar with them, no.
Well, they practice black separatism.
Well, that's reason I'm not familiar with them.
Good answer. Very good answer. That's what I was saying. But to continue along that line, do you feel that what they're doing is right? You know, they believe that white people should be separate. They believe that they should have a state in this country. I think they felt that Mississippi or Georgia should be, one of those two states should be a state. Do you feel
I was thinking maybe I'll make it New York.
New York, you think so? All right, I'm gonna get off that, Governor. You look too tough.
No, I think forced racial segregation is criminal and unconstitutional, and I think forced racial integration is criminal and unconstitutional. I think either one of them is cruel.
You mean on social level?
Any level, where it's forced.
Well, we do have like the laws. You mean
It's also morally wrong. Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes, sir. I think racial prejudice is wrong. Yes. Our government's probably practicing more prejudice today than ever practiced in all the lands between the black and whites.
There was a quote that you made on the fight in Miami that Muhammad Ali participated in with Jerry Quarry.
Differ. One man. Let me make sure my. One man complained of bone spur at some shady hospital who rented their business from this man's father, or who then received allegedly perks as being renters from this man's father, and said that he had bone spurs, did not fight in this war, always is bemoaning people who had suffered from the wars they have been in, became president. So we understand what is being said here. The black people should go out and give their lives for these wars. And speaking of wars, do you know that 4547 has announced that he is going back into, where is it? Afghanistan? To take over that military base that we saw people hanging on the landing gear as the last plane left, kind of reminiscent of what we saw when they left Vietnam, people holding on to parts of the plane until they fell to their deaths. Now 4547 is talking about going back there. 4547 has this military extended and making illegal strikes all over this world. It is alleged that he wants to go back there because China, he will be closer to China, and they will be able to see what's going on in China. Why is he so worried about what's going on in China? Because China is on the rise, and he has made the United States so much weaker with these tariffs that few nations even want to deal with us. And the reason that a lot of nations are dealing with us in the first place is these blackmail tactics that they are given. So understand, while we're being isolated, and do you think that that's not going to call for boots on the ground? Do you not going? So why do you think he made an executive order when early in his presidency to automatically sign up people for the selected service at the age of 18? Why do you think they automatically did that? You see all the conflicts that we are in, but Ronnie Q don't know the news. Ronnie Q, Sean Bradley would have you to say, because I reported on a story, and we see all of these different nations, all of these different strikes. We saw the strike. We see the strikes that are still going on in Somalia. We see all the strikes that are still going on in Yemen. We saw the strikes that is going on that went on in Iran. We see the strikes that are going on in Venezuela. Now we're talking about taking back over a military base that we gave up in Afghanistan. But Ronnie Q don't know the news. Ronnie Q already told. I ain't going back. Let's go forward. Now all of a sudden he ain't interrupted. He ain't got nothing to say. You notice that? Okay. Foot Soldier, I don't know. That's not true. The U.S. are warmongers. You're saying that the U.S. are not warmongers? I'm not clear on what you're saying, Foot Soldiers. The link is dropped if you want to come up and clarify, or you can write it and clarify. I'm really not clear on what you're saying. Now, it is said that, of course, all of this stuff that's going on with strike in Venezuela has nothing to do with anything other than 45, 47 wanting to put in a straw man for a regime change so that he can insert Eric Prince over in Venezuela. You know, Eric Prince, exactly what the Bushes is saying, who profited with these private contractors so much in the Iran war. What were they called? Blackwater. What were they called? Blackwater back then. And then they have changed their names 3 or 4 times over. And this is what is suspected, that they want to put in Eric Prince over in Venezuela and steal all the oil from Venezuela with a straw person in as the president of Venezuela. So there is that. While Venezuela has the largest oil reserve in the world. So there's that. Maybe Foot Soldier has left. I don't even understand what Foot Soldier is she saying we are or we are not warmongers, because the United States are definitely warmongers in my opinion. Now, how is history repeating itself? Let's see one more example.
In 1961, the photojournalist Eve Arnold documented a nation of...
Hold on. Let me make sure the speed is right. Okay, the speed is right. It sounded like it was going fast.
Islam event in 1961, the photojournalist Eve Arnold documented a Nation of Islam event in part led by Malcolm X in Washington, D.C., promoting Black power and liberation. The series is beautiful, including not only photographs of Malcolm X, but also of the crowd. And among these incredible pictures, there's this one. 3 white men stand out in the front row of a crowd of Black people, but what makes them stand out isn't only the fact that they're white, but more importantly, the fact that they were Nazis. Both the Nazis and the Nation of Islam believed that Black and white people couldn't coexist, though the Nazis believed so because of their belief in white supremacy, while the Nation of Islam believed so because they thought white institutions would never let them fully integrate. So both had similar aims, but for very different reasons. But in any case, George Lincoln Rockwell, the man in the middle of this picture, admired the Nation of Islam and particularly its leader, Elijah Muhammad, who he called a Black Hitler. That was meant as a compliment. When I raised the camera to photograph Rockwell and his men, he hissed at me, "I'll make a bar of soap out of you." I hissed back, "As long as it isn't a lampshade," and kept on photographing. I think it's very important to underline Eve Arnold's courage.
Okay. Eve Arnold was a Jewish woman. That's why he said he would make a bar of soap out of her, because that is, I don't know if they really did that, but that was during the Holocaust. That is what they said that they would do with the Jewish people who they killed in the gas chambers. That's why he said that to her, and it was also said that they would make lampshades out of their skin, and that's why she replied that back to him. If you don't know, I'm just letting you know.
For taking pictures in such events. Perhaps because she was Jewish or white, she finished photographing a Harlem Nation of Islam event with a dozen burn marks on the back of her clothes from men putting out their cigarettes on her. George Lincoln Rockwell founded the American Nazi Party in 1959. He hated communists, Jews, black people, and queer people. He's also the man who coined the expression white power. In 1964, he was invited to speak at the University of Michigan, and such invitation sparked controversy. It wasn't the first time that he'd speak at other universities and do debates. Many people wondered how responsible it was to invite a Nazi on campus. Some believed that, though Rockwell has the right to his opinion, a university shouldn't give him the legitimacy of an invitation given how dangerous Nazi ideas are. Some believed in the marketplace of ideas, and that if Rockwell...
And there have been many universities who have come under fire from their students about having Charlie Kirk and different right-wing speakers come out and talk to their youth for years. For years. Even this last event, they had over 2,000, I think it was like 2,600 students who were protesting him being allowed to go to that college in Utah. So history's repeating itself. Let's continue.
Rockwell's ideas didn't make sense, they'd be simply ignored. Rockwell himself believed that, or at least used that belief to his advantage. Others answered that Rockwell didn't appeal to reason, but to emotion, as fascists do, and that his ideas in the marketplace of ideas endangered the very existence of that marketplace. Despite protests, both before and during the event, the speech was given on October 13, 1964. For posterity, it was recorded, and I listened to all of it. It's incredibly relevant for today's context, though, as you may imagine from a 1964 Nazi, he didn't have to hide his racism. There's the conspiracies, the critique of how black people are portrayed too nicely in movies, talking about how weak and soft Americans are now, saying that queer people want to outlaw heterosexual sex and that they should be run out of the country, saying that white people are the true victims of hate in America in 1960.
Let me make sure my mic is on. It is on. Hey, Kimberly Black. Let's note. Hey, Miss Toby, I'm going to come to you after I finish this sentence. Let's note that they are trying to blame all of this stuff on trans. Nancy Mace, who is running for governor of South Dakota, came out with all of this. Not trans, trannies, she would call them. Miss Toby, is that you?
Yes, it's me. Hi, how you doing?
What's going on, Miss Toby?
Girl, I think this thing that happened with the Charlie guy, I think it's starting to divide people because I cannot believe the conversation I just had with one of my girlfriends who not only has a child with my cousin, but she's a white woman. I can't believe the conversation I just had with her.
Tell us about it if you want.
She called me 2 days ago to try to get my intake, my outlook on the situation, and what did I think about the situation and stuff. And I said, what do you mean what I think about the situation? I said, of course, I don't ever want anyone to get unalive in that situation, but am I sad? No. Would he be sad if it was me or someone in my family? So
Well,
then I told her, she told me, wait a minute, I got to go to my text messages from today.
she fell off. When she come back, I will bring her up. I when I left yesterday, I saw that the amazing Lucas was on with Pierce Morgan on yesterday. Oh my God! If you do nothing else, he replayed his the show yesterday, but he kept stopping in between and giving you content because I guess that's what you're supposed to do. But after hearing him reply a couple of times and them having absolutely nothing to say, I was hooked. Now the first Pierce Morgan did. He said, "Well, you he had introduced him. He let other people speak. Lucas was quiet. Okay, Miss Toby's back. I'm coming, Miss Toby. Hey, Miss Toby.
Okay, I'm bad, girl. She told me that he was a loving man and he loved all people and he wasn't about hate. Then I sent her clips of the things that he said about Black women, about how uncomfortable he would be if he got on a plane and he saw a Black pilot. How uncomfortable. She said, "Well, did you hear everything in full context? That's not what he meant." I said, "I don't give a fuck about hearing shit in full context. Whenever I hear anyone talk about Black women wondering how we got our positions, we must have got it because we were Black, not that we earned it. Whenever he says something, he walks on a plane and he thinks if it's a Black person, he's a lurie about whether or not I want to fly the plane. I don't give a shit about whatever the fuck he had to say."
And what did she say to that?
Well, I guess we're going to agree to disagree on this. And you know what? I didn't even fucking respond.
Oh God. Okay. Uh, let me.
I'm sorry.
No, let me. I want to play that uh clip. What he said about the Black pilots. Let me see. Okay. Now, this is him on another. I don't want to play her show. Let me see. Let me find it. Okay. So we can get it in context. Let's get it in context. Okay. Let me play this video for you. We're gonna get that in context. See, and that's another thing. All of this, if you did not agree, if you point out his hatred that he spewed, you are somehow doing hate speech. And Pam Bondi, the top attorney general, came out and said that she will arrest people for hate speech when hate speech is protected speech as much as they do, and even the right wing came out and said no, you cannot do that. But why did
completely
they
different
come
now.
out? Why did they come out and disagree with Pam Bondi, who said she's going to start arresting people for hate speech because they know that is what they do most. And if she starts arresting people for hate speech, then what will happen to them when there's another administration? Because surely she's not going to arrest anybody for hate speech.
God, why did she just, girl, why did she just text me? The the entire context regarding the pilot comments was when DEI was implemented. American Airlines went from 8% minority and was required to go up to 50% minority pilots.
And was required to go up to 50%. That's not true. That is not true. Let's there was no we have to be equal in DEI.
Oh my God.
It was we will have to incorporate other voices to make other decisions as opposed to having one decision based upon the experiences of people who are making policies, rules, and even selling products based upon the experience of one race of people. Even in retail, they found that DEI was helpful and helped them gain more revenue because you had people coming in with a whole new viewpoint that had been ignored because they had a whole milquetoast decision-making machine. So let's
wait a minute. She said that.
Did you tell her? Did you tell her that white women were the ones who advanced most
They are not as many minor. She told me there are not as many minorities in pilot school, and you want good pilots. Bitch, it wasn't that many minorities in pilot school because we didn't have the opportunity. His point was they were passing overqualified applicants to meet a quota.
Lord Jesus. Was a lie. Well, that may have been his point, but that was a lie.
Look, now see, I would be a bitch because I don't want to dox her because I'm not going to dox her. But I would be a bitch if I say, bitch, you didn't even graduate high school, but you're in a corporate job. I mean, you didn't even graduate college. You're in a corporate job with that position. I know damn well if I was a black woman coming in there and I didn't graduate from college, I would not be in the position that she's in. She's in a corporate job working in upper management and she's making 6 fucking figures and she didn't even fucking graduate college.
And don't even have her.
And she didn't even fucking go to a 4-year university. She dropped out of fucking community college. So you mean to tell me, and you're making 6 figures? Let me put in the back and tell you exactly where the fuck she work at, Ronnie Q.
And you,
because I ain't gonna say it online, but I'm gonna put it in the back and tell you who she worked for, and she making 6 figures. How the fuck I get to the bag?
And you know what? So strange about that as well. Charlie Kirk is he dropped out of, I think, community college as well. He's a college dropout as well. But he let's hear what he had to say.
Wait a minute, I'm dropping.
This clip was sent to me by about a dozen of you.
Okay.
Yesterday, in another attack on DEI programs, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and in an attack on wokeness, etc., right-wing organizer, I guess I would call him, Charlie Kirk, said that when he gets on an airplane and he sees a black pilot, folks, he says he sees a black pilot, he's worried about whether the pilot is actually qualified. Now, this comes after Charlie Kirk questioned the worth of Martin Luther King Day. Let's take a listen to it and then let's discuss.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality.
It actually sounds like it is. This is the movement that he has inspired. Now, I've heard similar stuff about female pilots.
Okay, let me see. There's no more. Go ahead, Mr.
You see what the fuck I put?
Yeah, I commented. That's I'm not surprised, but I am.
No, I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have walked in there without no fucking 4-year fucking degree and worked my way up to no fucking upper management, and I'm making 6 fucking figures. Ain't no motherfucking way. You had white privilege, and I told her that. I told her that once before. I told her that.
Okay, let me play his.
I'm sorry, Ronnie Q. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Let me play him in his own words. I'm still sharing.
You got yourself in some trouble online because you're always stirring up trouble online. Oh, reacting
I'm such a troublemaker.
You are a troublemaker. Reacting to a June 2021 clip, but it was making the rounds on X, of the CEO of United Airlines, Scott Kirby, talking about their quotas over at United for
Yes.
diversity in the ranks of pilots, which is extremely controversial for obvious reasons. Here's the clip that you were reacting.
What reasons are obvious about having diverse pilots? Let's continue. At United Airlines. Let's continue.
To in South 13.
Military.
How is diversity and diversity targets working into the Aviation Academy?
We have committed that 50% of the class of the classes will be women or people of color. Today, only 19% of our pilots at United Airlines are women or people of color.
We have committed that 50% of our classes, not our pilots, not American Airlines, Delta Airlines. Tell that stupid, silly bitch. Tell her that first. While she wants to know what is in context, the context is easy for her to look up. In their classes, not 50% of their actual pilots. You still there, Miss Toby?
I'm here. I'm listening.
Okay, let's continue.
I'm listening.
And by the way, from all the data
Okay, I must continue this. He's talking to the actual CEO of Delta Airlines. Let's continue.
I've seen, that's the highest of any airline in the country.
White males don't just dominate in the cockpits, also in the C-suite at United Airlines.
Well, look, at United, I'm proud of the diversity that we actually have in our C-suite. I think if you look around corporate America.
Correct me if I'm saying, though, so this was just based off your website, the people you list as executives, but out of 11 people, 3 are women. I believe 1 is a person of color.
That's correct. But, in corporate America, I think,
That's a low bar. How do you raise your own bar?
Well, a lot of this is, focusing on it. We have programs to, one of the things we...
And he's bitching about that. 2 women and 1 black person. And they're trying to act like DEI is ruining the country. How dare you have all of these black people, black women more educated than any person in the United States, but one a black person and 2 women, which obviously mean that the 2 women are white. There are more white women who are benefiting under DEI. Let's continue.
We do is for every job when we do an interview, we require women and people of color to be involved in the interview process.
Shut up.
In the interview process, but how is the hiring process? What did he say? He had 19%. I don't think 19%. Was it 19% black pilots? Let me hear this again.
Women or people of color. Today, only 19% of our pilots at United Airlines are women or people of color.
Are women or people of color? Not just people of color. Are women or people of color? So we cannot say even that 19% is just people of color, because we see in the C-suites that there are more white women or women than there are people of color.
And people of color not necessarily. Yeah, people of color is not necessarily a black person either. People should know that, right? It's not not necessarily a black person.
Right.
Oh,
okay. So let's see what where this come from. Since she wanna take it there, tell her it's Delta. It wasn't American. First and foremost. Let's continue. Let's see.
Shut up. Oh, I'm sick of this nonsense.
It's so repulsive.
All right, so wait, let me finish it.
It's shut up. I'm sick of this nonsense. It's so repulsive that they actually have 3 non-white people working in the C-suites at Delta Airlines. Let's continue.
By your reaction to it, and people freaked out because you said the thing that you're not supposed to say, but that's what you're known for. Here he is in SOT 14 on Charlie's show.
And that's why I think this United story and the DEI story hits so hard, because we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, or when you're flying through a storm and you're like, I'm so glad I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off. And I feel better now.
No, I mean, like, you want to go thought crime? Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's the
you wouldn't have done that. You wouldn't have done that before.
That's not an immediate.
No, you wouldn't have done that before.
That's not who I am. That's not what I believe.
It is the reality the left has created.
It's the reality that the left has created, and these are the people. That's not what I believe. You most definitely believe that because you said it. And then the other guy, am so relieved that the guy with the square jaw is flying the plane. The white man, he's trying to be slick and not saying the white man. I'm so relieved that the guy with the square jaw. Is that synonymous with white men?
And he said
You got to
Top
get
Gun.
in.
Didn't he say Top Gun? He said Top Gun.
Oh, did he? Yeah. Now listen. Let me tell you something. Very personal to me about Delta Airlines. Do you know that I have a cousin who served in the military, and he actually flew missions in the military. Once he got out of the military, he got hired on with Delta Airlines, their small commuter airline. The little small planes that look like the small commuter go to short trips. And now he is a full-fledged pilot on the regular Delta Airlines. And each plane that you go up in that you can fly, he's flying wide body airplanes for Delta Airlines. And that's why this is so insulting. See, you got people who are praising a motherfucker who got excuses not to go to Vietnam and serve his country. And then you have these people talking about how afraid they are from somebody who actually did fight for this country successfully and came back home alive and was able to get a job doing what he did well for this country. Did Charlie Kirk serve any time in the military? No, but he's talking about Delta Airlines procedures in hiring. He hasn't even graduated. He didn't even graduate from college as well. But these are the people who you have talking about this shit. Go ahead, Miss Toby.
All right, well, I had to go up there and tell you that I sent you something through IG, but I don't even know if this is even related. I don't even know if you're talking about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. I don't even know. But
I talked about that yesterday, and I do have a whole lot of information about all of the things that FCC chair had said about free speech, about being happy that Stephen Colbert was hired, all of the things that they did to target Disney, and that's what ABC gets. They did all of this to get money, and isn't that the first thing that they did in Germany? They quiet the comedians.
Girl, I canceled my Hulu today, and and that was I ain't gonna lie, y'all, that was difficult for me.
I had
I'm not gonna lie, Veronica. That was difficult for me, girl, to cancel my Hulu.
Now you are letting me know that Hulu is a Disney product. Now I don't know why we have Disney Plus. I think it's connected with another one of our streaming things, and I said I'm gonna cancel that. Now you're telling me
Hulu I don't have
Disney
Plus,
product.
but I have Hulu, and I had to cancel. I had to cancel my Hulu. What am I gonna do now? I gotta figure out what.
I had Hulu for years, and I never watched Hulu, and I just started watching a program.
They got great shows on Hulu. I mean, Reasonable Doubt is coming back. I got to figure out what I'm gonna do.
Now I just started watching Hulu. I'd say a week ago, because I found out Project One Way had came back and it was on Hulu.
Yes, Project One Way. Now what am I gonna do?
Exactly. Now I'm waiting on the newest episode to come out. I tried to watch it last night, and then they said it was going to be on at 12 a.m. I'm like on the 19th. Okay, today's the 18th.
I don't know. I might have to get another Fire Stick and have someone do what they do with the Fire Stick. I ain't gonna say what they do on the Fire Stick on your channel. So I might have to figure that out.
But thank you for telling me that Hulu is a Disney product. Because
Oh,
like with the Target, money speaks volume. Money will
oh.
make them walk.
Well, I've been on IG and people been saying that they was gonna boycott ABC, they was gonna boycott Disney, they was gonna boycott Hulu and stuff like that. And I've seen that celebrities have like said stand with Jimmy and stuff. I mean, I really enjoy Jimmy Kimmel. I mean, I don't think a lot of people might not enjoy him, but I always enjoyed him, and I always thought that like he was funny, but he was he knew what was really going on. Also, let me tell you who channel I'm fixated on now too. I've been watching Don Lemon every day now, and I think I'm obsessed with Don Lemon now.
Mm-hmm. I love Don Lemon. I'm
Especially when
telling
he
you.
does his talks to people out on the street. He was in DC last night, but some of the motherfuckers said like they didn't even want to talk to him. Like they scared. People scared to talk.
They scared to talk. Now, you have to. And I'm telling you guys have to go over to Reese Waters. Reese Waters is fabulous. He actually lives in DC as well. And he does things with a comedy spin. He doesn't get upset. He just is that right? Type of stuff, and show people contradicting themselves. And is that right? Is that what we're doing now? Oh, I love Reese Waters, and I also have come to enjoy the amazing Lucas. If you did not see him on Pierce Morgan yesterday, the first thing he said, Pierce Morgan set him up. He said, you have came out with these memes, and he showed the memes. He didn't come out with them. He shared memes. And he said, now, what do you have to say about how you reacted in this situation? And he said, well, I'll say that I was taught how to react with all the memes that came out about Trayvon Martin, the Trayvon Martin challenge, with all the memes that came out about Breonna Taylor, the memes that came out about George Floyd. I'd say that the right taught me how to react with memes in these types of situations. And then Jillian Michaels on there with her mouth open like, oh, I can't believe you. She didn't say shit though. But then when it came time to talk about, she addressed something to him a while later, and she goes, I don't understand. You show what type of person you are, and I don't understand this and that and the other. He said, wait a minute. Jillian Michaels, you don't understand how I address things, the way that you tried to belittle slavery when you purchased a whole white daughter. Oh,
Exactly.
girl, he was dragging.
Oh
And
yeah. She
then
has a black daughter. Yeah, she has a black
he
daughter.
said,
She adopted
he
a black
said,
daughter.
he said you purchased a whole black daughter. And then she shut her ass up for a little while. And I can't believe that you said that I purchased my daughter. I did not purchase. And he said,
Where was
you
this
didn't
at?
purchase your.
What was this article?
This was on Pierce Morgan show, and he the amazing. Let me drop his link.
Oh no,
And
I'm
then
subscribed to him. I'm subscribed to him, but it was on Pierce Morgan show.
it was on Pierce Morgan show. And then she comes back and he goes, she said, I did not purchase my daughter. And for you to say, he said, you paid no money for that adoption? Well, yes, I paid the adoption. That's what I said. You purchased your daughter. I didn't
Oh my
purchase my
God.
daughter.
Oh my God. All right,
Wait
so
a minute.
I
Wait a
have
minute.
to,
Wait a
I have
minute.
to.
You got to go to the Pierce Morgan show to see it
Okay,
unfiltered. And then,
I'm
he goes,
gonna look
wait a
it
minute.
up. I'm gonna look it up.
One more person. Then Jeffree Star happens to come up there.
Oh my
And
God, not
he's
him.
added at the end. And he's
No,
like,
please not Jeffree Star.
Jeffree Star comes up there, and he sits for a while, and then they go to him, and he had a whole thing. I'm not trans, I'm a human, and he's trying to everything. And people have been saying disgusting, deplorable things as he clutches pearls with these long glittered fingernails, and then he stays quiet for a little while, and then he asked him to talk, and he said, "I know Jeffree Star ain't up here who called women the N word and said that they had nappy hair." And Jeffree Star, "Oh, I've never said that. I've never said that." And his face got cracked, and he shut up. He shut up. He shut up until Pierce went back to him, and Pierce said, "Well, Jeffrey, is there anything else that you wanted?" And when he said, "I never said that," he said, "I got it on tape. I got it on tape. I've never said that." And then he goes back to Jeffree Star, and they had gone on to two different topics or whatever, and then I've never said what he said. I said he just cracked him. Jeffree Star had nothing else to say other than, "I've never said that. It's on tape. I have it on tape." Girl, it was so good.
Okay, so I had to. Okay, so where can I watch this at? Can I Google it on? I mean, is it on YouTube? Can I find it on YouTube?
I'm gonna drop the link for you guys. I'm gonna drop the link for that particular show.
Okay, Ronnie Q. Well, I'm about to drop down. I just have to come up here and tell you this because I just couldn't believe it.
Girl, they are really hating people stating facts, and
but I'm like, and I'm really, really shocked. But should I be shocked? I shouldn't be shocked, right? Tell me why I'm shocked. But I'm really shocked.
But what did you think about JD Vance sitting up there taking over his show in the actual White House and them saying all of that sick shit? Even JD Vance said that people should call people's employers, telling you got the president sitting in the White House taking up.
I feel like it's McCarthyism. That's what it is.
Exactly.
And this shit is crazy.
And they're putting the strength. And look, on the thumbnail, they have all of these women up there. The chick up there, the chick is on there who the swimmer who started all this trans stuff about a trans man was allowed to come and beat me. Oh, they dragged her a little bit, and she these people were sitting up there with their jaws open. Okay.
Bro, did you drop the link?
I'm dropping it right now. I'm gonna drop it on the back end. I'm gonna drop it on the front.
All right. I'm about to drop down.
Okay. All right. Thank you for coming up, Miss Toby.
Thank you. All right. Bye, y'all.
All right. Now give your friend the facts too. Okay. Let me drop the amazing Lucas. This is not the amazing Lucas. This is the show that I was talking to you about. This is on Pierce Morgan's channel. Now let me drop the amazing Lucas for those of you who are not familiar with his channel. I'll drop his channel there. Now, the thing about it that really shut them up a lot is they knew nothing about who the amazing Lucas was. Now, what you may not know about the amazing Lucas is that he used to be a part of Turning Point himself. Turning Point is the Kirk. Is it Turning Point? What is the name of his thing? Whatever Charlie Kirk's organization was. The amazing Lucas used to be a part of that until he realized, this is via him, I'm paraphrasing, that they were not about everybody. They cared about certain things until it happened to black people, and then they did not want to champion it. They wanted to hold on. Wait a minute. He gave a couple of experiences a couple of times where he talked about the heinous things that happened to white people that got no traction from that part of the media, and he started calling out all of these names. He said, "Did you guys cry about when this happened to him? Did you guys cry about well, I did shows about it," and they were sitting up there like girl, and fellas, Thank you, Liz. Hey, Liz, you guys have got to go over there and check out the amazing Lucas. Now, he used to Turning Point USA. Yes, he used to actually be a part of Turning Point USA until and then they were like, what? So that first they tried to say that you just hate him. You're just glad he's not. You just glad he's dead. Pierce Morgan was the one. Go ahead and say it. You hate him. Go ahead and say it. And none of them knew that he had actually been a part of Turning Point with Brandon Tatum, the cop who is always talking poorly about his own people. And if you are not familiar, Brandon Tatum came out here. He had a half-hour interview with Netanyahu, and then he comes out here simping, hoping that he will be another one of these YouTube influencers who is getting paid by Netanyahu to spew their talking points. But he fucked up. He fucked up his own bag. You know how Brandon Tatum, he used to be a cop, and now he's a far-right black pundit. You know how he fucked up his own bag? He said, well, I went over to Israel with a bunch of preachers. Now, Netanyahu didn't take y'all on the exclusive, come visit Israel, come get everything you want, everything you need. We'll take you up to the hillside where you can get some refreshments out of a vending machine and watch us and see a clear view of us striking down the Palestinians from this hill. He didn't get that. He went with a bunch of ministers, he said. And then you know what he said? And the people were nice, and everything was nice. And a preacher was only spit on one time by a small child. Like, he was expecting to be spit on. But he said, and only one time did a preacher get spit on, and it was by a small child. And they told us, oh, no, it's not like this all the time. The fool said he got spat on. A preacher got spat on. But he's uplifting the greatness of Israel. So where am I? I have Okay, there's the amazing Lucas. I want to also put in Reese Waters. This is Reese Waters' link. I'll go over there and check him out. Here is Reese Waters' link. Hey, Jill. How are you, Jill? It is good to see you, Jill. Jill is doing something. What are you doing, Jill? Jill has a craft event coming up. Do you have a game coming up again? When is the game, Jill? I'm sure Jill has a game coming up. Can you write that in the chat for us, Jill? The next event, and she has a poetry competition that is coming up as well too. So if you guys want to join her poetry competition, please go over there and check out Jill's Comfort Zone. We need some dates, Jill. We need some information. And I will be sharing her information on my community wall as well. Thank you, Jill. Now let me share some more things that let's get into this FCC person and Jimmy Kimmel. Family Feud is tomorrow and crafting is on Saturday. Oh my God. Oh my God, Jill. I didn't know it was this close. I will be over there for Family Feud. What time is Family Feud tomorrow? So we all remember I reported on yesterday how Brian Kilmeade on Fox News said that as far as the homeless people, they should be involuntarily euthanize, just kill them. If you don't remember that, and a day or two later, if you are unaware that there have been shootings at homeless encampments, that didn't age well, did it? That did not age well. Okay, let's see what happened.
Violence, several of which have been in crowded areas, are deeply troubling. These incidents of violence, several of which have been in crowded areas, are deeply troubling. And obviously, families, neighbors, and even children in our community should be safe from that. Minneapolis has been through some very difficult days recently. In the past 24 hours, we've had 2 mass shootings that resulted in 12 victims, having injuries ranging from a man with a graze wound who refused medical aid to 4 people with life-threatening injuries, 3 of whom are very, very seriously injured. Our officers responded immediately to each incident, secured the scenes, and we are actively investigating. In both of these incidents yesterday, dozens and dozens of pieces of evidence have been recovered, videos have been recovered, and we are pursuing a number of leads in both cases. We are devoting every available resource, not only to hold those responsible accountable, but to do everything that we can to try and prevent future violence.
As you see the Minneapolis police chief talking about the influx of mass shootings going on in the area. A couple happened in a couple of days, one at a transit center and another at this homeless encampment. Think about those 2 areas and what types of folks may sometimes generally be hanging out in those areas. Let me give you details of the second one. At the homeless encampment, police learned of the shooting at this homeless encampment around 10 p.m. on Monday when an off-duty officer working at a nearby retail store was approached by people running from the camp and reported gunfire. The officer left the store and heard gunfire coming from that encampment area. They arrived on the scene and they found 5 people injured by that gunfire, including a woman and 2 men with life-threatening injuries. Another man and a woman suffered what appeared to be non-life-threatening wounds, with each having injuries to their legs. All 5 were then rushed to a hospital. There's more. This latest shooting happened at a homeless camp in a parking lot that has been at the center of a legal conflict between the owner of that property, Hamoudi Sabri, who opened it up to the homeless in July, and city officials who want it shut down. Sabri has refused to shut down that camp, and earlier this month, the city sued him to try to force its closure. Sabri is facing about $15,000 in citations and fines related to that encampment. So there's layers to this, bro. There's all the fighting that's happened between the leadership of the city and then this one particular guy. We've seen these fights in other cities and discussions about moving homeless encampments out. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry said in a news conference in the hours after the shooting that the city will be clearing this encampment immediately after the crime scene has been investigated. This is the worst. This is way worse than just a nuisance, he said. This is a danger to the community. The city followed through Tuesday morning on Fry's promise to clear that camp, drawing a crowd of dozens of camp residents and protesters. City workers were seen loading the bicycles, tents, and other belongings in the back of garbage trucks, while several people argued with police at the scene, saying that they...
So, is this even a better solution? Let me tell you how the homeless population has sprouted up and grown until it's crazy. There are some places I will not go because there was a case, a breakout of chiggers or something in downtown LA, the rats running in and out of these tents, all of this shit. I'm very afraid of rats and rat activity. I'm afraid of mice and mouse activity. There are certain places I will not go that I pity. I can't understand how people can even be comfortable. But let's understand that besides the mentally ill people, there are a lot of people who have absolutely nowhere else to go. Now, how is this eliminating the homeless the homeless by going through like they did in DC and throwing all of the few belongings that they have in a trash dumpster and sending them on their way. What is this? Now we are supposed to be the richest country in the world, and out of sight, out of mind is the only thing that they have to give the mentally ill and the homeless. This should bother you with the number of people who are have lost their jobs, who are probably going to lose their jobs in this administration. We're in the first 9 months of this administration, and over 300,000 black women have lost their jobs. So they have no solution for any of this. They are offering up no solution for any of this. So but they are building concentration camps all across the United States. Do you think that they have any humanity? They have shown no humanity in dealing with the homeless and the mental ill up until this point. Why are they still building these concentration camps? And who are they going to get sick of seeing next? That's all I'm asking.
They were told that they could collect their few belongings before the encampment site was then cleared, after someone terrorizes this homeless encampment and shoots up several people. After that, the city steps in, shoves more people to the side who were promised to allow to get their few belongings, and threw them in the back of garbage trucks, smashed things up like some people's forms of transportation, like bicycles. So again, the kind of attention we have to be given to people, and the kind of concern and care about whether or not someone has a family, whether or not someone has a life, whether or not someone has things, we just blow away and say, who cares? Who cares? They're unhoused people. It doesn't matter.
This is simply not a strategy that works. It is not safe. Our obligation is clear. Help people transition into safer, healthier alternatives, not allow them to languish in conditions that guarantee the kind of tragedy that we just saw.
I don't know what kinds of programs the city is pushing and trying to get towards. I'm not sure what Jacob Fry, I believe his name, what his policies have been towards trying to transition people into safe areas. But they have been having battles with this man who opened up his parking lot to this encampment earlier in the summer. So whatever those programs are, I would like to see. Maybe he's going to display those later. Maybe he's going to implement those since it came to a head here. But let's not overlook the fact that he said them just being there is what then made these types of tragedies happen. Why is that? Your existence forces people to then want to come kill you. Where you're staying because you're homeless forces people to then come kill you. Why is that? Why do we accept that as a normal approach to this? Why do we think, yeah, I can say that in front of cameras after people have been terrorized like this?
And why can we ignore that Brian Kilmeade has not even lost his job after saying that you should just euthanize the homeless and mentally ill, just kill them. That's what he said. Why are we pretending like nobody heard that and this man still have his job? In the meantime, people who are not showing sufficient hurt, dismay, sadness behind Charlie Kirk, people who have the right to free speech, people who are just letting his own words play out, are being harassed, losing their jobs, having government officials called on them. And why are we playing dumb? Why are we playing dumb? They don't see any of the causation that they are causing, but they want to penalize the least of us while giving tax cuts that is going to take away medical insurance from the people who have the least, to make sure that they can give the people who have the most more money. That it's not trickling down. Let's continue.
And it's been multiple shootings in multiple days in this same city. And then the leadership then says, this is why you shouldn't be there. What have we done about our society to make sure that people don't think, yo, these people are annoying. I'm so tired of them. Let's just eliminate them. It's almost like we heard it recently on a national news program that a lot of people like to listen to.
Billions of dollars to mental health and the homeless population. A lot of them don't want to take the programs. A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you.
Okay, you can't give them a choice. Billions of them don't want to take the program. I don't even think that there are a billion homeless people, billions, much less even 1 billion homeless people. So let's start with the beginning. Billions of them don't want to take the help that's given. What help is given? Be specific. Since you're talking about billions of homeless people that don't even exist in the United States. See, we're starting this all off on a false premise. All of these lies that are being put out like, oh, people are refusing them and they just want to live out on the street all dirty, all in wrapped, all catching all types of diseases and ailments. How many homeless people do you see out on the streets in wheelchairs or with seeping wounds and all of this type of stuff? It is horrible. It is horrible, and they want you to condemn these people who have to live this way. Like I said, there are some places I do not go. I don't want to walk on the sidewalk because I know people are defecating and urinating on the sidewalk. And God forbid, I always take my shoes off at the door. I don't want to bring that home on my shoes. It's not their fault. It's the fault of our government. That's whose fault it is. And until they recognize that, I think it's all by design, though. At this point, do you have to understand that this is by design? Let me let him finish this bullshit.
Take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Take the resources we are going to give you. Did you see any resources being handed out as they were throwing those tents away in D.C.? They did say that they were going to be giving out information, and then how come they couldn't say specifically what they were doing for them? Because they had nothing for them. They wanted to pretend like they were giving these people resources that they don't even haven't even built up. If they had resources that they were going to give to them, how come they didn't walk us through these resources and show us what was going to be given to these people who are living on the street, who wanted to get out on the street? I'm not trying to pretend like some people are okay with not having rules and so they can do what they want because they do not want to comply with the rules of society. I'm not pretending like there are some homeless people out there who is riding roughshod of any societal norms. But what I am saying is, if they had something that they were replacing homelessness with, why didn't they show it to you? Let's continue.
Involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right.
To be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to?
Or involuntary lethal injection. Just kill them. And you notice that, this Dumbo is over there. Yeah. I wonder what social services classes, what type of classes that he has to profess all of this alleged knowledge about the homeless crisis. I wonder what does he actually even know about the homeless crisis? And Brian Kilmeade is just like, get them out of my face. Euthanize them. Just kill them. And you notice the bitch in the middle, what is that? Whatever her name is. What is her name? Angie Earhart, who's fucking Sean Hannity. She has a care, and she was not repulsed about any of this. She's getting a dick from an old fucker who left his wife, who's making I believe over $20 million on Fox News, if I'm correct. None of this phases her. She's she's not clutching her pearls. How did we let it get this way? Let's continue.
A lot of them don't want to get the help that is necessary. You can't give them a choice. Either you take the resources that we're going to give you, or you decide that you're going to be locked up in jail. That's the way it has to be now.
Or involuntary lethal injection or something. Just kill them.
Yeah, Brian, why did it have to get to this point?
Right. I would say this. We're not voting for the right people. In North Carolina, wake up.
Just kill.
So she's not saying that this is not, what you're saying is ridiculous. She said, why does it have to get to this point? She's agreeing that this is the point that it is at. People either have to be locked up in jail or euthanized. Why did it have to get to this point? She has no other solution in her bird brain either. Let's be clear.
Kill him. Just kill him. This is how rhetoric from major platforms leads to the kind of societal thought process that makes people go, those people don't matter. Man, they're annoying. Let's just kill them. Brian Kilmeade still has a job. Last I heard, I'm not sure if it happened overnight or this morning, but Brian Kilmeade is still employed at Fox News after advocating for people to be murdered. And then, then for some reason, oddly, that influx of political violence based off of people's thoughts that are also piggybacked by this president who did the same thing in Washington, D.C., as far as scraping up people's areas and pushing them aside and saying that they don't matter. Rhetoric and actions and policy lead to people thinking they can do their vigilante versions of those same things. Because as many of these, we've seen these many people say, they live vicariously through their racist president. And then after all this happens, after we see all this go down, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, we've been talking about rhetoric lately. He was asked about rhetoric.
The president himself has referred to Democrats oftentimes as evil enemy. Would you urge him, would you advise him to tamp down the rhetoric?
The president has been called the most despicable names by people on the left for a long, long time. I don't have to give you the catalog. It would be this thick. I'd need one of those Hakeem Jeffries notebooks to put up here and go through with you with all that. Look, there's a lot of heated rhetoric all around, and what I'm trying to advance here is this idea that we can have vigorous policy debates. That is the legacy of Charlie Kirk. He loved the debate. But he didn't hate the people on the other side, and that's what I'm trying to encourage all of us to remember. We can have vehement disagreements on policy, but it shouldn't be personal. At the end of the day, we're trying to bring people to our mode of thinking, and it's more effective that way when you handle it that way. And I think Charlie was a great example of that. Yeah.
The question was, would you tell Donald Trump to tone down his rhetoric, since we're talking about rhetoric? His answer was, Donald Trump gets called lots of names. In other words, the answer is hell no. Moses Mike Johnson wants more murders. Moses Mike Johnson wants more conflict. Moses Mike Johnson didn't have anything to say about these folks talking about race wars and white men fight back. Moses Mike Johnson had nothing to say about any of that. Mike Johnson works for Donald Trump's ass. Donald Trump lets him follow around with the sniff, the smell, the stench of his ass, drawing Mike Johnson in closer every time. All Mike Johnson cares about is protecting Donald Trump and his very, very, very thin skin, because he can't take it. He can't handle it, because Donald Trump gets called names.
If I look at her name, I look at a lot of people. I do a lot of names for people, like Pocahontas. She said, my mother said I looked like an Indian, so I started calling her Pocahontas. Some people say I'm very good at that, but I can't get into too many, because many of those people that I named like that are Republicans, and we don't want to bring that up. But no, it's just it's a takeoff. I have fun with it. And sometimes, to tell you the truth, it's a very effective tool. But I do get credit for having been an originator of the term. I mean, a lot of times I have a very fertile mind. I come up with very good names for people.
You're very creative.
Pocahontas,
Yes.
lots of good names.
He has a very fertile mind, which means his
So let me ask you something.
hold on. Which means his mind is full of total shit, a manure. Now, let's get into this Jimmy Kimmel thing. I think it was Miss Toby who sent me the message yesterday during my live, so I reported it live and showed a little clip of why Jimmy Kimmel was fired. Let's get into the Jimmy Kimmel thing. Here's what Jimmy Kimmel said about Charlie Kirk. If you guys are not aware, let's get into the Jimmy Kimmel of it all in its entirety.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from.
Here's everything you need to know about the off-key monologue that got Jimmy Kimmel's show pulled indefinitely. The controversy began during Monday's show when the late-night comic started off by claiming that MAGA was using Charlie Kirk's assassination to score political points.
In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend. This is how a 4-year-old mourns a goldfish, okay?
Kimmel then doubled down, sharing that it wasn't the first time since Kirk's murder that Trump redirected a question about the Turning Point USA founder back to the White House ballroom.
And it didn't just happen once.
When I heard it, I was in the midst of, building a great, for 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom at the White House, right? They don't have a ballroom, they have to use tents. And they came in, they said, Charlie Kirk is dead. I didn't know what they meant. I said, he was dead. Charlie Kirk was shot.
And then we installed the most beautiful chandelier. Sconces you wouldn't believe. There's something wrong with them. There really is. I mean.
Okay. So we have that. Let me see what you guys are saying. And we're going to get to the FCC appointed chair, who, if you don't know, the FCC chair was more than happy to see the demise of PBS. Okay, let me share this with you as well. How did it go behind the scenes with this Disney getting rid of Kimmel? MAGA drummed up a BS to take down Jimmy Kimmel. ABC suspends Kimmel's show after the right wing's twisted comments he made in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. I think this is a Rolling Stone. Yes, this is the Rolling Stone article. Jimmy Kimmel's late night show was suspended by ABC on Wednesday following a brief pressure campaign from the Trump administration as well as conservatives in the media who successfully twisted Kimmel's word following last week's assassination of right-wing activists. During Jimmy Kimmel's Live on Monday, the comedian criticized conservatives for trying to score political points off of Kirk's death. We just saw that. Kimmel's slightly ambiguous comments came after conservatives spent the weekend blaming the left and transgender people for Kirk's killing. At the time, the public knew little about the alleged shooter's motives. Prosecutors disclosed on Tuesday that the suspect, Tyler Robinson, told his trans roommate and apparent romantic partner, "I had enough of his hatred." Now, we're going to talk about some more of these text messages that the FBI released. I read you the text messages, and upon reading what was in these text messages, I found a lot of things strange about these text messages. These these numbskulls who couldn't numbskulls who couldn't figure out where how to find or hunt down this killer, who they want you to know that they have positively identified his DNA on either the towel or the actual gun, but they couldn't find him, but they're congratulating themselves on finding them. So how peculiar is it that they came out immediately and said that he had something to do with transgender or something, trying to support, and now, even though that they know that all of those quotes were particularly off a game or some games, that he was an avid gamer, and these are comments that are associated with playing these games, they are still trying to let you believe that no, he was indoctrinated by the left to believe these things, when they can truly go right back to these games. They've never said that was false, but they totally ignore the gaming aspect of what they found engraved on these bullets, so they don't have to answer to it if they go back, and if these things engraved on the bullets actually have anything to do with these games. But I'm just trying to fill you in how strangely enough, they come out with it is supposedly a text thread between him and his alleged trans lover, and a lot of people are now there's some things that I did not even trip off of. Now, all of the writings in this text thread of a 22-year-old, they are no abbreviations. There are all full sentences, the whole full sentences. Have you text with a young person recently and have to try to figure out what they mean about certain three-word letters meaning a whole different thing? But no, these are whole complete sentences. They're talking about some of the words in there were kind of strange for somebody who understand he's on the run. He's hiding from the police allegedly at the moment, and he has time to write these elaborate sentences and using the phrase "my love" and all of this, full sentences, periods, punctuation, and everything. Punctuation, talking about instead of saying a cop car, he's calling it a squad car. Instead, just all of this antiquated language. Another thing that they someone else noted, that he could have been calling his father his old man. But what young person do you know refers to their father as their old man? I know people of a more older age will probably use that phrase "old man," but I'm not saying he doesn't. I just think it's strange. I think all of the time to write these full sentence and all of these "my love." But what I did find the most strange, that he said that he is sitting there and there is a police cruiser or something sitting there, and he think they have swept the area, but he's trying to get the gun back, but he may have to leave it. Everything, every question that was left unanswered has been answered in these text messages, conveniently, in full sentences of someone who is 22. Don't talk like this. If he's trying to get the gun back, why did he leave the gun there in the first place? That struck me strung. So a whole lot of this, there's a note that was left, and all of this. Look under your desk, and they have they can conveniently tell you what is in a note that they have no way of accessing, that they say has been destroyed, but they are sure that they know exactly what was in this alleged note. Something that's in this note is the confession that he did it and it was him. But this FBI, I showed you some of the questioning of Cash Patel yesterday, and when he could not answer a question, he lashed out at the actual senators and congressmen about them being nothing in their district, and they just trying to score points, and they need to get out and earn more money, and this, that, and the other. So we are to believe that this chain of text cleared up any holes in this investigation conveniently. This chain of text that they want you to believe that is real, they have no time stamp on these texts. I was on the wrong story. I'm on the wrong story. Okay, so let me see. Tuesday, that the suspect Robinson told his trans roommate and apparent romantic partner, "I've had enough of his hatred." Okay, amid the right's sprawling effort to get people fired from their jobs for weighing in on Kirk's assassination, conservative decided to certainly the conservative decided with certainty that Jimmy Kimmel had accused a right-winger of murdering Kirk and demanded his firing over it. While there are some room for disagreement about what Kimmel meant by trying to say he did not actually say on ABC that the alleged killer was a MAGA member, as the right would have you to believe. I played you what he said. The article then on Fox News website Tuesday evening said that Kimmel had insinuated a Turning Point USA co-founder Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin was a member of the MAGA gang. Fox News contributor Joe Concha asserted matter-of-factly, Jimmy Kimmel's argument is that the guy with the trans boyfriend gunned down the biggest supporter and advocate of 4547. He's MAGA. Fox News host Will Cain claimed Wednesday that Kimmel was attempting to make the assassin MAGA. Brian Kilmeade of the Just Kill 'Em crew, the Fox host who recently suggested got in on the act too, claiming that Jimmy Kimmel came out and said these MAGA guys wanted to pretend that this guy wasn't one of them. So I played to you what was actually said. The Daily Wire, for his part, wrote that Kimmel claimed the suspected assassin Charlie Kirk was part of 4547's MAGA movement, while The Blaze said Jimmy Kimmel claims that Charlie Kirk shooter is MAGA, doing a wildly unfunny monologue. So we have all of this hyperbole going on about what Jimmy Kimmel allegedly said, but they just didn't connect the clip or play the clip of what he actually said. These big, large news agencies couldn't find the time to say exactly what he said, because we do understand that Fox News is not a news agency. It is an entertainment agency. We do understand that the show that Brian Kilmeade hosts is not considered news. Rupert Murdoch denies that it's news, so he can't get sued for what these numbskulls say on these type of programs. He said that it is not this is not considered news. These are some of their broadcasts. Even though they're set up to look and appear as news, he decried that they are news, so he won't get sued for what they're saying. Again, none of this is for an accurate depiction of what Kimmel said. Conservative producer Benny now the FCC chair had the time to sit down with another 4547 supporter who also is allegedly being paid by Israel to talk about Israeli talking points. Benny Johnson, Trump world's favorite one-time plagiarist, amped up the volume, posting Wednesday morning on X that Jimmy Kimmel went on air and told ABC audiences that Charlie Kirk's assassin was a MAGA conservative, effectively blaming Charlie Kirk for his own assassination. That's what Benny Johnson said. And guess who visited Benny Johnson, the FCC chair? I think it was on today. I will not play it because I will not go over there on Benny Johnson's page. Let me see. Where did I want to get? Oh, here we go. Johnson called Kimmel comments on ABC a clear-cut violation of the FCC policies on news distortion, punishable by the revocation of the offending broadcast license. And then he brought on Trump's FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, to make this threat explicit. Okay, Johnson teed up the discussion by suggesting to Carr that Kimmel seems to be inviting a potential copycat and further radicalization in the wake of Kirk's murder. Carr responded that when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible, as you've indicated. There are avenues here for the FCC. So this is how Jimmy Kimmel got fired. Another MAGA influencer by the name of Benny Johnson. Now, I have played a couple of Benny Johnson bullshit, not his personal clips, but clips that contain content of what Benny Johnson, who is allegedly getting paid something like $300,000 now. I would be. No, let's continue. Okay. The FCC chairman himself then claimed that Kimmel was attempting to push the narrative that Kirk shooter was somehow a MAGA or Republican motivated person, again calling it sick. Elsewhere in the conversation, Carr said that I think it is really sort of past time that a lot of these licensed broadcasters themselves push back on the Comcast and Disney and said, listen, we are going to preempt. We are not going to run Kimmel anymore until you straighten this out, because we licensed broadcasters are running the possibilities of fines or license revocation from the FCC. Now, this is the FCC man's musing about what some of these broadcasters should say while they're going to stop broadcasts. He's saying them himself. Or we could risk fines from the FCC. This is the FCC pretending what a different outlet should say about why they're pulling Kimmel. This is coming from him. Until you straighten this out, because we licensed broadcasters are running the possibility of fines or license revocation from the FCC if we continue to run content that ends up being a pattern of news distortion. I didn't know that Jimmy Kimmel Show was a news show. I'm not aware that. So this is the FCC. This is out of his mouth. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, Carr added. These companies can find ways to change conduct and take action. Frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. We can do it the easy way or the hard way. And they can take action on Kimmel, or there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. So, what I'm telling you is, that the government has already run these news agencies, these for-profit news agencies, to shut up and not ask questions that are going to matter about you and how you live your life. And now they have so much free time that they are targeting comedians. So what did Kimmel say? What was the worst thing that Kimmel said? He didn't say anything that was worse. The worst thing that he did was to show that 4547, when asked about his dear friend's death, just went on, was unconcerned, was talking about a goddamn ballroom. And he's supposed to be so broken up. The whole nation and these whole sick-ass, weak-ass media is buying into, oh, everybody's just heartbroken. Everybody's just broken down. Oh, what would we do? And when asking the president a question, he's talking about the ballroom. Not only did he show it once, he showed it to you twice. How unconcerned 4547 really appears to be about the death of Charlie Kirk. And now he is suspended indefinitely. And this FCC chair is letting you know that this was the whole game. Within hours of ABC's, a major broadcasters, Nexstar and Sinclair, had succumbed to the Trump administration threats, knocking Kimmel off the air, at least for now. To underscore how soaked in bad faith this whole enterprise was, is Rolling Stones reported on Wednesday night multiple ABC and Disney executive knew that Kimmel hadn't done anything over the line and had not actually said what those MAGA rights had accused him of saying. They were terrified about what the government would do and did not even think Jimmy had the right to just explain what he said, a person familiar with the internal situation says on Thursday. It was so cowardly. 4547, who has long wanted to use the might of the federal government to punish liberal late-night comedians, has heralded the Jimmy Kimmel News while contributing his own inaccuracies to the discourse. The ratings challenge Jimmy Kimmel show is canceled, he wrote Wednesday. On Thursday morning, the president claimed that Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else. At this point, Kimmel has not been fired. Okay. Trump added Thursday that Kimmel had said horrible things about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. All lies. That didn't happen either. But given the ultra noisy and successful MAGA outrage campaign against Kimmel, who would know? Okay, so there's that. All of these links are in my chat box. So now I still have my goals up. I know a lot of you guys are not aware that they actually are saying that they want Jimmy Kimmel to give a very hefty, a notable donation to Turning Points USA. Charlie Kirk's hate machine that Charlie Kirk's organization that he co-founded. A hefty, let me see, donation. Here we go. And this is not coming from Disney. This is coming from the FCC chair who is demanding this.
And people like Jimmy Kimmel, because people should not be able to celebrate others. And thank goodness for companies now who are firing nurses and teachers and people like Jimmy Kimmel, because people should not be able to celebrate others' deaths.
The chairman of the Federal Communications Commission is now making the rounds not just on Benny Johnson's program, the man who took money from the Kremlin, who was paid hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars from Vladimir Putin himself to run with propaganda from the state of Russia, our enemy, a hostile foreign power. The guy who acted as an unregistered agent of Russia is now hosting the FCC chairman, Brendan Carr. And there are demands being made of Jimmy Kimmel right now that they're going to force Jimmy Kimmel to donate to the racist, un-American, bigoted Turning Point USA organization. They want him to give his money that he's earned from his paycheck, his private funds. They want to force him to donate to a racist political organization. This is a serious situation, and it's being celebrated by, championed by Brendan Carr, who, by the way, is up to his neck in this. I got clips here where they're asking a question. Did you have anything more personal to do with this? Did you have any personal involvement in the dismissal, the temporary or the indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel? And you will not be shocked to learn he refuses to answer the question. He pivots and answers a question that wasn't asked. But he's also celebrating the firing. Brian Stelter put this out. He said, I asked FCC Chair Brendan Carr if he had any new comment now that ABC has pulled Jimmy Kimmel's show, and he sent me this GIF. Celebrate. Raise the roof, says Brendan Carr. Jimmy Kimmel has had his First Amendment rights violated by the executive branch of the federal government. Because if you think Donald Trump didn't have something involvement in this, didn't have something to do with this, you're giving fascists the benefit of the doubt. You're legitimizing them by believing that, by putting that out into the ether. Brendan Carr is also thick as thieves, up to his neck involved in this. Here he is explaining that Sinclair is like the Fox News of television affiliates. They own a bunch of ABC stations, but others.
Sinclair Media also owns a lot of local news stations. Sinclair has gone through all the United States and bought up a whole lot of your independent news outlets and news program, and all throughout all of their news agencies throughout the United States, they have given these smaller news agency a script that they must apply to. They must report the same news the same way, and if they have time to stick in any of their local news, even though they are local news affiliates, but they must toe the line. Let's continue.
You very likely, if you live in a medium-sized metropolitan area, a medium-sized municipality in this country, you likely, Boise, Idaho, that small town has a Sinclair station. You likely have a Sinclair station. I would look it up. And I would not watch them. I would not do business with Sinclair. But this is Brendan Carr celebrating the fact that Sinclair is going to force Jimmy Kimmel to make a donation to Charlie Kirk, the late Charlie Kirk's racist political organization.
According to the New York Times, late Wednesday, I'm just quoting here, Sinclair, another owner of many local TV stations, said that it would also suspend Mr. Kimmel's program and called on Mr. Kimmel to apologize and make a meaningful personal donation to Mr. Kirk's family and the activist political group Turning Point USA. Do you think that's an appropriate remedy of the situation?
I think Sinclair has every right to call for that. Again, Sinclair affiliates with Disney. They take Disney contract. They have a contractual relationship with Disney, and that's between the two of them to figure out, what's going to make sense to make both of them comfortable with the relationship going forward. But again, over the years, it would be unthinkable for Sinclair, for Nexstar, for local TV stations to actually say, you know what? we're not going to take this particular programming that's coming out of New York and Hollywood and send it to Pennsylvania and Utah. And so the idea that local broadcasters feel like they can push back, I think that's a much, much healthier dynamic for the country right now.
Imagine that. Imagine if your employer forced you as a condition of employment to donate to the American Nazi Party. It's not too far off the mark. Charlie Kirk was a racist, Christian nationalist bigot. He had nothing but venom and vitriol for black people, for women, for gays, for transgender Americans. He was a vile, sinister, malign influence, a cancer on the body politic of the United States of America. Doesn't mean that his killing was justified or should be celebrated. Doesn't mean that at all. But he was what he was. He lived his life as he lived his life. We can't be forced to celebrate the accomplishments of a white supremacist. But apparently, according to the Federal Communications Commission chair, a company has every right to demand that Jimmy Kimmel donate to the American Nazi Party. Fantastic. The same interview, he was asked, did you have anything personal to do with this? Did you have any role to play personally in the dismissal, the indefinite suspension of Jimmy Kimmel? And notice, like I say, the thing that's not said is often more important than the thing that was said. Notice that he does not answer the question.
I guess I'd start off by asking, did you play a role in this beyond your public comments? I believe they took place yesterday morning on a podcast in which you said we can do this the easy way or the hard way in terms of changing conduct on Kimmel, or you said there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. Was that enough, in your opinion, to spur this move by Disney, or were you involved beyond that?
I think there's a much bigger shakeup that's underway right now. I think people, again, try to focus narrowly on the specifics here. But if you just back up, I think ever since President Trump won the election, it's created a permission structure for markets, including the media market, to rationalize. I mean, again, if you look at the ratings for late night television, they've been in an absolute nosedive for years. But for some reason, these companies felt like they had to continue to subsidize it. And I think that's ending. And again, I think your viewers get this, but think about the business side of this. You have the national programmers, Disney, that create this content, and you've got individualized licensed TV stations all across the country. And they're required, they've been for years, required to respond to the needs of their local communities and viewers. And I think it was those local communities and viewers that were saying, we don't like this stuff anymore. And so Nexstar was the first mover here, said we're going to preempt this.
So what he's saying is that no, the viewers, they complain. Do you think any viewers complain? I don't even watch Jimmy Kimmel. The reason I'm letting you know this is that your government is trying to take over everything you say, you see. Now, they always want to talk about the Russian government, state-sponsored television. They are trying to trample over our free speech, and they've already handily taking over the media. Now they're trying to take over individual programming, and they're not denying it. They are not denying it. They are saying the loud part out loud for you to hear, if you can hear. If you have an ear to hear, they're telling you what they're doing. Now, I said that Benny Johnson was taking money from Israel. I misspoke. He is allegedly taking money from Russia, up to $300,000 a year. But that does not omit that Benny Johnson is also one of the podcasters who were invited to Israel, where they gave them a class in how to address questions that they may get about what Israel is doing in Palestine. They were giving some propaganda answers to answer to about what is going on in Palestine. So Benny Johnson is making money hand over fist to say anything that is going to get him paid. Let's continue.
Program, we're going to black it out. Again, that's what you're supposed to do, a healthy, functioning market. So I think, again, people sort of focus on, narrow specifics, but there's a much bigger shift that's taking place. I think, again, people sort of focus on, narrow specifics, but there's a much bigger shift over here. So we're going to respond to the needs of their local communities and viewers. And I think it was those local communities and viewers that were saying, we don't like this stuff anymore. And so Nexstar was the first mover here. So we're going to preempt this program. We're going to black it out. Again, that's what you're supposed to do, a healthy.
We're going to preempt this program. We're going to black it out. That is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to black out programming that you don't like, or I think that individuals have the ability to black out programming that they don't like by not watching it. But no, we are going to take your job. You see how cute he put it? And I said that it was I believe it was the viewers. And the affiliate said, well, we're going to black it out. That's what you're supposed to do. I think that you are supposed to cancel a program once their ratings show that the viewers are no longer interested. That's how I thought it worked. Silly me.
Functioning markets. I think, again, people sort of focus on, narrow specifics, but there's a much bigger shift that's taking place right now in the media ecosystem. And frankly, I think that's a good thing.
This is a wild moment in American history, where they are just in public violating the Constitution of the United States, saying with their mouths one thing and then acting a different way, which it is hypocrisy. It is what we should expect from them. But who knew this quickly they would try to cancel the Constitution, cancel the First Amendment, and not for conservatives, for liberals. If you're a critic of Donald Trump, you are under threat. I got one more, and this is kind of unrelated. It's unrelated to the FCC thing. But the White House Faith Office, the White House Faith Office, Jenny Korn is her name, is celebrating.
Jesus, I didn't even know she was from the Faith Office. I just played her in the last clip. I didn't know who she was. I thought that she was just some right-wing pundit.
Saying thank goodness for companies who are now firing nurses and teachers and people like Jimmy Kimmel, who people should not be able to celebrate others' deaths in a very public way. That's interesting because I've got a clip of J.D. Vance doing the same thing. Spoiler alert on that too. Here's Jenny Korn, a representative of the White House Faith Office. Jesus would very much like to have a word, Ms. Korn.
But now we're on alert. We know who those people are because they have told us who they are and they've shown their evil. And thank goodness for companies now who are firing nurses and teachers and people like Jimmy Kimmel, because people should not be able to celebrate others' deaths in a very public way and then keep their jobs. So congratulations to companies in America for doing the right thing finally.
People should not be able to celebrate others' deaths in a public way and keep their jobs. Somebody call J.D. Vance and let him know that Jenny Korn wants him shit canned.
So I was talking to I said Secretary of Defense, but our new Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth. And I was talking to Secretary Hegseth, and you know what he said? He said, you know what, Mr. Vice President, we don't see any of these drug boats coming into our country. They've completely stopped. And I said, I know why. I would stop too. Hell, I wouldn't go fishing right now in that area of the world. But that is what a military that is dedicated to its purpose and a commander-in-chief that is dedicated to the national good can do. If we just have our actual government fighting for the interests of Americans and nobody else, we can make this country safer, we can protect your jobs, we can make sure you've got the best wages anywhere in the world, and we can stop this terrible poison from coming into our country. We just needed a president who was willing to fight for you, and now we've got one.
Yeah, that's the Vice President of the United States.
Who are are these people who keep filling up these seats and applauding this bullshit as the American prices in America have gone up, wages are stagnant, and believing that he's acting as we can do this if we get in office, as if they're not in office right now, and they're applauding this we can do it in the futureism type of talk when they are sitting in office right now, and you see them attempting to do none of this shit that these fucking ignorant motherfuckers who are behind him clapping for. They are attempting to do none of that shit. Another thing about what J.D. Vance said about not he would be afraid to go fishing right now. It is being reported that the two boats that were struck by our military in the Caribbean Ocean, not Caribbean, out in the Caribbean, is it the ocean, the Caribbean Sea? These are two vessels. I understand why he would be afraid to go fishing, because it's reporting that these were in fact fishing boats. Let's continue.
United States just yesterday making jokes about murdering fishermen in boats off the coast of Venezuela. No due process. No proof that what they claim they did, they did. No proof that these people were drug boat pilots, captains.
And you will notice that the for-profit media that has access to the White House to ask them questions are not asking any questions about it. They're not asking for any proof that they say that they have proof, definite proof that these people are who they claim they are. But the media is, the for-profit media is asking for no information or proof to anything that is being spit out here for your consumption, for you to take at face value to be true. That's okay. So these links are in my description box. Now let me share with you. Here we go. Let's hear some more talk out of the FCC's chair's mouth himself. Now, this is what the FCC, now we know that Stephen Colbert was canceled prior to this happening. So let's see what the FCC chair had to say about the cancellation of the Stephen Colbert show. Let me make sure the volume's up. Yes, it is.
Colbert doesn't have it anymore. What we were focused on was our interactions with the new purchasers, the commitments that they made in the FCC record, again, addressing bias, addressing things like DEI, looking to put more investment into local news, because at the end of the day, trusted local sources of news and information are really important. It's a big counterweight to a lot of the national media out there. In terms of the Colbert thing, again, that was a business decision for the current owners to have made on their own.
Yeah, the timing was interesting, though, and so was the settlement where the CBS Paramount had to pay $16 million to President Trump to settle the lawsuit, and now some Democrats are saying this is just bribery. Did that need to happen for you to approve this deal? Was that part of it?
Well, it's interesting to me, you know, as the new owners of CBS came in, they made a commitment to making progress.
Hold on. So he's getting beyond the question. She said that is that what needed to happen? Yeah, is the firing of Stephen Colbert what needed to happen to make this deal go through? He is not answering the question. CBS had capitulated and paid him $16 million for a case that they could have handily, most likely have won. But he's not answering. Was it, that seems like bribery, she says. Did this have to happen for the deal to go through? Let's see if he answers that question.
progress on bias and actually trying to move back towards fact-based journalism. And as soon as they did that, Democrats in the House all of a sudden launched an investigation. I guess we can't have that. I guess we can't have a return to fact-based journalism. Look, the reality is there's three very separate things going on here. There was this lawsuit involving President Trump, which was outside of the FCC, didn't have anything to do with us. We had this transaction before us, and we also have a news distortion complaint against CBS. The news distortion complaint is still pending at the FCC. We haven't made a final decision on that, but those are three separate things that have been proceeding. Well, look, it's clear to me that Colbert doesn't have it anymore. What we were focused on was our interactions.
A non-answer, a non-answer to the question. So if they're afraid to say yes or no, maybe it's yes. It doesn't seem like it's no because Colbert was fired. That's just my opinion. Now let me, what is something else I wanted? I can't remember what else I wanted to say about that. Let me share one more thing with you about the FCC guy. Here we go. Talking where he's comfortable. You know, when you get them comfortable, and a lot of people may not see this. Here we go. On Fox News. What is he saying on Fox News?
Executives are trying to. Meantime, you have probably heard that a lot of tech executives are trying to cozy up to one Donald J. Trump, including Mark Zuckerberg of Meta, i.e. Facebook fame. He says that he wants to have a very active role going forward in Donald Trump's tech policy making. I don't know what my next guest thinks of that. Brendan Carr has been very critical of a lot of these tech companies, including Meta, including Mr. Zuckerberg. Brendan, in case you didn't hear, is Donald Trump's choice to chair of the FCC. Kind enough to join us. Commissioner, Chairman to be, congratulations. What do you think of that? That he wants a seat at that table, an influential seat at that, Mark Zuckerberg. Should he have it?
You know, the most important thing to me going forward, whether it's Meta or other technology companies, is their actions, not their words. It's nice that they want to play ball. It's nice that they want to be part of the solution. I hope that's true. But there's no sort of cosmetic change or words that's ultimately going to throw me off the scent. There's a lot we can do at the FCC that I plan on doing. There's a lot the Federal Trade Commission can do as well. And Congress, now that we have both houses of Congress in Republicans' hands, a lot of the tech issues are bipartisan, to be clear. But when it comes to cracking down on censorship, it has been Republicans that have shown more leadership and interest there. So I think across the agencies, across Congress, we need to work together to frankly smash the censorship cartel and restore free speech in the country, because it's actually a straight line from there to economic growth as well.
You know, I was talking ahead of this interview, Commissioner, with someone who said, and he was very complimentary of you, well, there's a whole new sheriff in town. He wasn't referring to Donald J. Trump. He was referring to you heading the FCC, particularly your comments about smashing the censorship cartel. I assume you were talking about the big social media tech players.
Yeah, there's a lot we can do with the FCC. You know, one is Section 230 is part of the Communications Act. We can take a look at that because, frankly, courts have added immunities into the provisions that are found nowhere in the law passed by Congress. We can impose transparency obligations through existing FCC laws. And we can also take a look at working with the Federal Trade Commission. Commissioner Ferguson there had a statement recently that said, look, if social media companies are colluding to not compete on speech regulation, that's really no different than an agreement not to compete on pricing or another sort of traditional competition metric, and they should be looked at that. And it's not just social media. The Biden administration leaned on a lot of these entities to censor. There's also advertisers and marketing companies. I've been looking at them, including NewsGuard, that are part of this broader censorship cartel. We've got to smash it.
But, Commissioner, who runs the show? You're competing, not competing, but you have to work with the FTC, to your point, the Federal Trade Commission, the Justice Department separately. So could there be some butting heads in the offing here?
I don't think so. I mean, look, all of this flows ultimately from President Trump. You know, he had the foresight on this issue before a lot of other people speaking out in favor of free speech. It's his agenda at the end of the day. It's his cabinet picks. It's his administration. It's his policies. And I think you're going to see a lot of unity, not just on this tech censorship, but on economic growth in general. There's a lot of parallels right now with 24 to 2016. In my sector, things flatlined in 16. Spectrum, infrastructure weren't going anywhere. We revitalized it. Unfortunately, we flatlined again the last couple of years. And President Trump's policies have turned the economy around once before. They're going to do it again. It's going to be a really good run for the economy here.
You know, Commissioner, you didn't write the Project 25 planning document, but you did write on the FCC in that document and the role it should play, in which you argued that you should regulate the highest and the largest tech companies. So you still stand by that part of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I wrote in that particular portion is, nothing unique to that document. It's part and parcel of what I've been saying all along. Americans have been living through an unprecedented surge in censorship the last couple of years. We need to return to free speech, diversity of opinions. Does it mean that everybody has to see speech they don't like? No, not at all. My view is let's empower individual users that are participating in these digital town squares. You can mute people, you can block people, but let's put those decisions back in the hands of everyday Americans and not have them centralized in Silicon Valley.
All right, I think we're in.
Okay, let me see the date that this came out. A far cry from what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, would you say? This was 9 months ago. You will see that this came out 9 months ago, talking out of one side of his neck before he got the job. He already got the job when he recently got the job, and this is the bullshit that he was saying to get the job. Now, let me show you one more thing. I want to, maybe two. Let me show you. Let me show you. He says we're not done yet. On a show today. No. That's the old one. That's not the one I want to show you. That's the one I just showed you. He said that they are not done yet. Let me get that link to let you know who is in our government. Here we go. Let me start this over so you can see that he said that we are not done yet. Let me see. I think this was, let me see what this was. Let me see, when did this? 9 hours ago. So it seems like a lot has changed since it has been okay that this president can do any and everything he wants. Let's see what's in store for us since it's not over yet.
I want to come back to where we started the conversation in Jimmy Kimmel and your contention perhaps that these shows do lose money. You know, we just did a quick look. I mean, the show is supposed to be profitable, Chairman. Not
all late night shows are losing money because people who even watch the late night shows are not even watching them on these stations that broadcast them. Most of them are watching them on the internet. So now it's about they were losing money. Now, we have heard many different reasons why. Now, it's because they're losing money. If the FCC in charge of what shows are profitable, I thought the FCC was not involved in any profit. What do you care? I'm sorry.
Not necessarily on advertising revenue, as you note, given ratings, but affiliate revenue. Show is perhaps that these shows do lose money. You know, we just did a quick look. I mean, the show is supposed to be profitable, Chairman. Not necessarily on advertising revenue, as you note, given ratings, but affiliate revenue, carriage deals, YouTube viewership apparently quite high. You know, again, I guess I just push back on the idea that these companies are keeping these shows on the air to score political points somehow, as opposed to because they think they actually make them money.
Yeah, look, we know for sure with more data coming out on Colbert that they were losing money. Happy to take a look more at Kimmel. Obviously, the ratings are where they are. They've been going through the floor. But again, this is a decision for local broadcast TV stations to make. Right. Are they going to lose their own advertisers because people don't want to be associated with that Kimmel programming? Again, we're talking about varied parts of the country with different values, and I'm pleased that Nexstar and Sinclair are looking to their viewers and saying, our viewers don't want this, and so we're not going to run it anymore. So even if it is profitable, if the viewers don't want it, that's the ultimate judgment there.
And again, I had asked earlier about Fallon and Seth Meyers, but is the president's view that they should also be taken off the air, shared by the FCC?
Well, yeah, I don't speak for the president, so obviously, he speaks for himself on that. Our goal and our obligation here is to make sure that broadcasters are serving the public interest. And if there's local TV stations that don't think that running that programming does it, then they have every right under the law in their contracts to preempt it. And we'll see how this plays out. But I do think that, again, we are in the midst of a massive shift in dynamics in the media ecosystem for lots of reasons. Again, including the permission structure that President Trump's election has provided. And I would simply say we're not done yet with seeing the consequences of that shift.
Well, what does that mean when you say you're not done yet, then? I mean, will you only be pleased when none of these comedians have a show on broadcast television? Or?
No, again, it's not about any particular show or any particular person. It's just we're in the midst of a very disruptive moment right now, and I just frankly expect that we're going to continue to see changes in the media ecosystem.
Well, Chair Carr, I'm not sure I want to do this or not, but should the government have someone who reviews the writers before the host says something?
No.
How would you be sure that the host is saying something that you would think is okay?
That's not up to me. The way this works is that the local broadcast station is supposed to be responsible for the content. So the check on that content is not the government. It's not me here at the FCC. It's your local TV station in Provo, Utah. It's your local TV station in Scranton. It's on them under the law.
However, in all of his complaints about Jimmy Kimmel, he has not given one instance where any local broadcast station has complained to the FCC about the content of Kimmel's show. He had so many of his own personal complaints, however, about the show. None of these complaints has he verbalized or shown fact that any of these local stations complained about Kimmel. No, there were his own personal complaints. We're not going to buy into the bullshit. Let's continue.
They're responsible for the content. They're responsible for judging whether they think it's in the public interest or serves the needs of their local communities. Not for me to decide, but I'm very pleased that they feel empowered to stand up to Disney and Comcast in the appropriate cases.
Yeah.
For example, who stood up to Disney and Comcast about this? Give us an example of any of these rural or local broadcasting companies who had a problem with it. For example, the only example that was given was you lapping up to 45-47 because his feelings got hurt because it was broadcast widely how it appeared like the Charlie Kirk agreed process was over, as the rest of the nation was supposed to keep up this grieving process. Let's be clear. Okay, I just wanted to show you guys that. If you were not familiar with that. Then, one more thing. I don't like Morning Joe. But when you're right, you're right.
FCC Chairman Brendan Carr was named to the position by President Trump last year after rising through the ranks at the agency. He's long spoken out against government censorship and for the freedom of speech. In 2019, Carr posted on social media, quote, "Should the government censor speech it doesn't like? Of course not. The FCC does not have a roving mandate to police speech in the name of the public interest." In 2021, he wrote, quote, "A newsroom's decision about what stories to cover and how to frame them should be beyond the reach of any government official." In 2022, Carr posted, quote, "Political satire is one of the oldest and most important forms of free speech. It challenges those in power while using humor to draw more people into the discussion. That's why people in influential positions have always targeted it for censorship." In 2023, he said, quote, "Free speech is the counterweight. It is the check on government control. That is why censorship is the authoritarian's dream." And yet, here was Carr in an interview yesterday, right before ABC announced they were pulling Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air.
You know, when you look at the conduct that has taken place by Jimmy Kimmel, it appears to be some of the sickest conduct possible. Frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. These companies can find ways to change conduct, to take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or, you know, there's going to be additional work for the FCC ahead. A very reasonable, minimal step that can be taken. I mean, obviously, look, there's calls for Kimmel to be fired. I think, you know, you could certainly see a path forward for suspension over this. And again, you know, the FCC is going to have remedies that we could look at.
What does this mean? We can do this the easier way or the hard way.
Yeah, I mean, authoritarian's dream. To quote himself, this is what happens when you start censoring speech. Comedians we've heard the warnings. If the comedians can't joke about the government in charge, that's a very deeply slippery slope. And we should know this comes after just this move last night. And Steve, we'll get to the business dealings in just a moment. But like, this comes after we heard from J.D. Vance and Stephen Miller and other members of the administration that they were going to use the Kirk assassination could be used as a pretense to crack down on opposition. And in the way that this president and his administration view opposition, that includes the media. That includes people on TV who they don't like.
FCC Chairman.
Okay. Okay. Are we clear on what's going on here? Are we clear on what's going on here? I just want to make sure we're clear. Renee, it's good to see you. Dude is on point. I think you're talking about yes. Dolomore. Okay. So I think I've said all that I have to say on that. Now, all of the links are in my description box. I want to go on to 4547 wants a do-over. They are talking about putting, it would have to be putting boots on the ground. We want that base back. 40, I think it's in Doha, the base in Doha.
As you know, it's an out.
Now to President Trump's major new statement involving
Baham.
The Taliban. The president earlier announcing that the U.S. is now trying to get back Bagram Air Base in Afghanistan.
We're going to leave Afghanistan, but we're going to leave it with strength and dignity. And we're going to keep Bagram, the big air base, one of the biggest air bases in the world. We gave it to them for nothing.
Bagram.
We're trying to get it back, by the way. Okay, that could be a little breaking news. We're trying to get it back because they need things from us. We want that base back. But one of the reasons we want the base is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons.
Bagram Air Base is located just north of Kabul, and certainly you remember these scenes from the Kabul airport. People chasing down airplanes after President Biden was withdrawing U.S. troops in 2021. A Pentagon report says $7 billion of U.S. military equipment was left behind at Bagram Air Base at the time. CNN's Natasha Bertrand has some new reporting on this. Tell us about your new reporting, Natasha, but also something that the president is alluding here to, which is that he disagrees with how Bagram was left, considering it was his administration that brokered the agreement that said that all U.S. and coalition forces would leave Afghanistan.
That's exactly right, Brianna. So what we're learning is that the president has been ordering his national security team for months now to find a way to get Bagram back into U.S. hands. It has been controlled by the Taliban since 2021. It was relinquished by the U.S. Back in July of 2021 to.
Well, here's my thought. If it's been controlled by the Taliban, why don't he go to the interim president of Syria? Remember, he was a Taliban leader. You know, the same former Taliban leader who is the interim president of Syria that 47 met on his Middle East trip, who said that they were going to create a Trump tower in Damascus. Do you guys remember any of that? I remember it. I remember reporting on it. Why don't he just go to that former Taliban leader and negotiate with him? Let's continue.
The Afghan government, which of course fell just about a month later and was taken over by the Taliban. But the reason why the U.S. relinquished that airbase to begin with was because of this agreement that President Trump struck with the Taliban in 2020, just prior to leaving office, that essentially mandated the full withdrawal of all U.S. forces from the country in exchange essentially for certain security guarantees from the Taliban. Now, according to
we also would want to remember, if you didn't remember, this was the deal that 47 made with the Taliban before leaving office. Now, a lot of people want to forget that, but they always want to say how Joe Biden when actually pulling troops out, there were 13 troops that were unalived during that withdrawal that 47 struck the actual deal on. See, they want to remember some things, but they don't want to remember other things. Now, a lot of people that think that the whole withdrawal was Biden's idea without realizing or without acknowledging who struck that deal with the Taliban. Let's continue.
Our sources, there are several reasons why the president has been kind of fixated on this. One, of course, is that he believes that it was simply a failure and embarrassment by the Biden administration to give up the airbase, which was so important and so strategic for the U.S. military for decades when it came to Afghanistan. A number of other reasons that his national security team has articulated, including the need to surveil China, which has a border approximately 500 miles away. And as you heard President Trump say earlier today, they are, according to him, building nuclear missiles very close by. And so having a base so strategically located would allow the U.S. to better surveil the Chinese activity. Other reasons are because the U.S. wants access to certain rare earth elements inside Afghanistan, according to our.
Which is more likely? We have heard about this administration bending over like a whore for rare earth minerals everywhere across this world. We have heard about their desire to supply their tech bros with rare earth minerals to create the batteries for things that they need. We have heard about conquering Greenland that is full of rare earth minerals. We have heard about Africa being having high tariff because they have shut off their own rare earth minerals to the United States. We have heard about 47 as part of his ceasefire agreement between Ukraine and Russia, demanding that Ukraine gives the United States, I think it was 50%, if not, I think it could have been 50% of all of their rare earth minerals. This ain't about none of that shit other than rare earth minerals for the rich to go in and to give contractors more money, more jobs, and put the actual military in harm's way, to be a buffer, so nothing can be happen to these contractors who are going to be getting filthy rich and only working for the filthier of rich. Let's be clear. That's my opinion. Hey, what did I know?
Sources as well as mining. They want to establish a new counterterrorism node against ISIS to potentially conduct new operations against ISIS in the country. And they
want to, but didn't 45, 47 pen the plan in his last administration at an agreement with ISIS against the advice of people who were actual real politicians, real military people? Didn't he pin the deal with ISIS? Didn't he go over and didn't have any problem with meeting or with the president of Syria? A whole I think he was real big in ISIS, and hugging him and talking about what a great type of work that they will be doing together. Get the fuck out of my face. If you guys believe the bullshit, and she's just reading it off. If this is CNN, they're just reading it off. And let's see if they're going to bring up any questions about any of this shit that has been shitted on their paper that they are reading out of this for-profit media, just shitting out to you, the public.
In the country, and they want to possibly reopen a diplomatic presence in the country. And all of those things, all of those objectives, sources stress to us that those are going to require U.S. troops to be on the ground. And so what the president is effectively proposing here is to put U.S. troops back into Afghanistan several years after, of course, that very chaotic withdrawal that led service members to be killed, as well as hundreds of Afghans as well during in a terrorist attack in Kabul during that evacuation process. And so this is obviously not happening anytime in the immediate future. The U.S. has been trying to figure out a way to get the Taliban to give it back. And President Trump has said that he is looking to leverage the U.S.'s essentially position over the Taliban to try to get concessions from them, including getting Bagram back. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But it's something that the president is taking.
So they're going to leverage their position over the Taliban. So why are they trying to figure out a way to get back in and it's not going to happen for years? Make it make sense. If they have leverage over the Taliban, they would just go back in. They have no leverage over the Taliban. They have absolutely no good reason that they want to go back in. Now they're going to we're going to spy on China. We're going to spy on the Taliban. We know you don't have no problem with the Taliban. We know if you are paying attention, it's all about these rare earth minerals. All of these fucking 50,000 excuses why they want to go back in. Why they want to put boots on the ground in. But these boots on the ground are not going to be the one who is harvesting these rare earth minerals. Anyway, just in case y'all didn't know that, I thought it was important to talk about. Let me see. Nothing. I'm going to end with this. History repeating itself. We know that they have, the UN has declared a genocide in Gaza. A lot of these things I bring to you because of the amount of support that the United States have given Gaza in support and financial support. Now, a lot, if you have not heard about the missing children from Gaza, not the dead children that they are killing, there had been a lot of children going missing in Gaza. babies going missing in Gaza. So if you guys are not familiar with how history repeats itself, I definitely want to share this with you. Let me open it back up. I had it open for a while and I closed it. Oh no, I got to share with you. You know how they always say that they are concerned about babies. They are concerned, about birth in this nation. There are also people who assume that one of the reasons that Elon Musk and his ilk like to sprout off that there are a shortage in the white birth rate. So, and that they have repealed Roe versus Wade. There are many states who are trying to make any type of abortion illegal in their states because they care about the children. They want you to understand that they care about the children. Okay. So let me share this with you right quick. Don't go anywhere. They care about the children. They like Trick Daddy. Trick Daddy care about the children. Okay, here we go. Do they care about the children, or do they just care about the white children? Or do they even care about the white children? Let's talk about the children.
Every time you deliver a baby, it's the most magical thing that you've ever seen.
Ready to go home?
It's this beautiful, amazing feeling that just, it never fades. It's something that this community needs.
Having a safe place to give birth is an essential part of healthcare, but it's one that's disappearing from America's hospitals.
I don't think any hospital wakes up one morning and says, you know what, I don't really like doing this. Let's just stop doing it. If we can't pay the bills, I mean, we're kind of on our own.
More than half of hospitals in rural communities no longer deliver babies. But what we're seeing now is just the tip of the iceberg.
A debate in Washington could reshape healthcare for millions of vulnerable Americans.
The most significant attack on the healthcare needs of the American people in our country's history.
This is 100% a necessary service.
I worry that there would be death.
So what happens when something as basic as safely giving birth is no longer possible in many parts of this country?
I've lived my life for 42 years here, and this is the first time where I'm like, you're making it harder. If you continue in that way, I don't know if we can stay.
This is our next generation. This is the future of our country. If we're not valuing that and making that a priority, what are we doing?
Thanks for coming. Oh, come on in. Thank you.
Sarah Omatoso was born and raised in Morrisville, Vermont, a small town of just 2,000 people. She works as a nurse at Copley Hospital and is expecting her first baby in December.
Here's our little girl. Oh my God. I can't stop looking at it. Ever since I've worked at the birthing center, I've always said, if I have a baby, I want to have it here.
Sarah was planning to have her baby at Copley Hospital's birthing center, just 6 minutes from her house. But that changed in June, when Copley was the latest to join what's emerging as a national crisis.
Citing costs and a declining birth rate, Copley Hospital says it's closing its birthing center. It'll be shuttered at midnight on November 1st.
After nearly 100 years of doing labor and delivery, Copley Hospital said it could no longer offer this service because the hospital was losing $15,000 to $30,000 on each birth.
How did it feel for you that the hospital was closing this because of money?
I felt betrayed. I don't understand. I can't tell you how many times I said that, and we all looked at each other and said, I don't understand.
It's the only hospital in the entire county. So when we close, we will become a maternity care desert. So there will be no obstetrical care in the entire county, and people will have to leave the county to have their babies. What hurts my heart is I live in a county where people are only going to die and not be born.
April Vanderveer has helped people have babies at Copley for the last 20 years.
So there's 11 hospitals in Vermont that deliver babies. And all of them, except that big hospital in Burlington, are small. And Copley's one of those. So we, on average, deliver about between 175 and 200 babies a year.
Why is this important? These hospitals that are closing and that are skimping on care, there have been calls about that big busted bill that would cost this, and even before the ramifications of this bill have set in, the fact that this bill has passed, these hospitals know that they are going to be stretched to capacity and not able to give all of the services that they are giving now. So therefore, they are cutting out on certain services, trying to save money to stay open. And now, a lot of people didn't believe this, didn't care about this, didn't understand what this policy and these tax cuts were going to, the ramifications it was going to have on you and how you live your life or not. We are seeing ramifications, not just in this one state, in many states. Several hospitals have already determined that they will be closing down in rural areas that overwhelmingly voted for 45 and 47. Let's continue.
Which, is not a huge number, but to those 200 people, it's a super important service.
Pretty much anywhere you go, you're going to have to travel about an hour. That's an hour there for a prenatal appointment, and an hour back. That's 2 hours, 45-minute appointment. That's 3 hours out of my day that I have to use my earned time off. Don't get paid for that. That's just me. We have a whole entire community of people who already struggle to come to their prenatal appointments, and they're 15 minutes away from us. And all of a sudden, with this closure, we're telling them that they have to go an hour or more to get to where they need to get prenatal care or postpartum care. And that's unacceptable. That's not acceptable.
More than 500 hospitals across the U.S. have closed their labor and delivery units since 2010, hitting rural areas the hardest. So why is it that these communities are losing what should be an essential part of any hospital?
The biggest, I hate to say it this way, but the biggest loser financially is definitely labor and delivery, by far.
This is Erin Edwards, the CEO of Lake Chelan Community Hospital, a rural hospital in Washington state. Lake Chelan runs a full labor and delivery unit with a team of OB nurses and a class of OB residents.
To sustain a labor and delivery program, you have to have a lot of people. You have to have on-call staff all the time, whether you're doing anything or not.
Rural hospitals often struggle because they don't see a lot of patients. And in America's for-profit healthcare system, no patients means no payments.
For us, our best year in labor and delivery was last year, which was a $500,000 loss. We would need to be at about 300 deliveries, and we are last year did about 85.
Wow.
So we're not even close.
But the real problem for rural hospitals goes back to how America funds its healthcare.
Because of the way insurance works, almost no one in rural areas is making any money off of birth. Everyone's losing money because it's just not reimbursed.
When hospitals deliver a baby, they're reimbursed by either Medicaid or private insurance.
So Medicaid pays quite a bit less than commercial payers do for this service line, which is beyond me why.
The average global payment for the whole pregnancy, all the visits, birth, everything is that from Medicaid in Vermont is about $1,900. We're a resource-rich country, and yet we can't seem to prioritize healthcare like a lot of countries do. And so
Yeah, they want you to believe that they are so concerned about the birth rates going down, as they're cutting your Medicare, and this is what Medicare is actually paying for your maternity, labor and delivery.
Medicaid especially has been underfunded for a long time.
When Medicaid doesn't pay what it actually costs to keep a labor and delivery unit running, hospitals lose money. It's particularly a challenge in rural areas, where there's a higher percentage of Medicaid patients.
About 78% of our labor and delivery patients are Medicaid. That's tough.
To stay afloat, many hospitals have to counter losses from labor and delivery with other services that make the hospital more money.
Something like orthopedics or general surgery, those service lines are reimbursed really well, and you do pretty well. So, you can, for the most part,
So we get paid more for fixing broken bones. So we're going to continue to offer that services, but babies not so much. This is on More Perfect Union. Be sure that link is in the chat under but they want us to believe they care about the children. Now I am going to cut out on this. I just wanted to share a little bit about that and go over there. It's like a 14-minute video. I want to share also about what many Black women know or may know, but not all, as far as them caring about the babies. Here we are. I've talked about this many times on my program, the disparity in care for Black mother and children between the age of newborn and 1 year old.
I think the focus is on a crisis that is too often ignored. It's a simple fact. Being Black and pregnant is far more dangerous than for a woman who is white. It's in the data. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. The Black population in North Carolina right now is around 22%, yet Black women accounted for 43% of the state's pregnancy-related deaths from 2020 to 2022. If you zoom in a little closer into Mecklenburg County, Black women face a maternal mortality rate 4 to 5 times higher than white women.
You got a lot of important jobs, but where does mom rank on that list?
Oh, man. You started at the right place.
Yeah.
That is my full-time job, actually.
Janisha Brown has 2 kids, 12-year-old Ethan and 7-year-old Ellis. The pregnancy with Ellis is where this story really starts.
And 10 days after I had him, unfortunately, I was just sitting at home and felt this very strange sensation in my chest that would later be diagnosed as a heart attack.
You said when I was later diagnosed with a heart attack. That wasn't diagnosed right away?
No, and I always replay this in my mind. At first I thought that maybe I was having a blood clot, maybe something else was going on.
Tests were run, but they came back inconclusive.
And the physician pretty much looked at me and said, well, what do you think it is? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm kind of in pain right now. I'm not sure. And then he said, maybe you're having a panic attack.
She knew that was not it.
I could feel my heart flipping in my chest.
Did you think you weren't being believed?
At the time, I didn't feel like I wasn't being believed. I felt like I was being rushed. I felt like I wasn't being fully attended to.
Let's pause right there, because here's what's even more staggering about this. Janisha Brown is Dr. Janisha Brown, as in medical doctor. Her story is another example that no matter education or economic background, Black women face higher risks.
My view of it was completely blown, when I started to, experience this for myself, even being a physician, and being well-resourced, being married, all those things that you hear about that could be causing, the inequities for Black women as it pertains to pregnancy. And it opened my eyes, right, to that there's something else, even more unconscious, that's going on.
What's going on is a bias in healthcare, unconscious for the most part, but real all the same. All too often, Black women just are not believed. Research done just last year, in fact, found that here in North Carolina, discrimination was a probable contributing factor in 53 pregnancy-related deaths. That's almost 70% of all the deaths. It's why Dr. Brown launched WEBE, the Women's Empowerment and Birth Equity Institute. She's working to inform and support Black women before, during, and after pregnancy.
And it's 2025, and we're living in a community that has great hospitals. We live in a state that has incredible medical schools.
Yes.
There's no excuse for this, is there?
There's no excuse. And, being in a well-resourced area like Charlotte really, I think, highlights the problem even more.
So I guess that leads to what I'm seeing behind you, WEBE. Tell me about this.
Yes, so we have several programs. One of our biggest programs is that we support Black women as they're going through their pregnancy journey one-to-one. So we meet one-to-one. I meet with them one-to-one, so it's physician-led. And we individualize their health. We're not replacing their physician, but we are there to, almost like a sister or an aunt with this medical education.
It's hard though sometimes, right? You're talking to a doctor, let's say, right? And that's sort of hard to question them sometimes, isn't it? So how do you handle that?
Yeah, that power struggle is, obviously not something that is, it's not unique to Black women. I think a lot of people feel that when they go to the physician's office. And so one big thing that we do is build relationship and normalize that experience.
Is that sort of like role-playing that? Or?
We do a lot of role-playing. The biggest part of it is not only just taking the phrases that we're giving them, but personalizing them so that it feels natural coming out of your mouth.
What does success look like then for you?
Success looks like women who are ready and wanting to kind of take that advocacy component for themselves, women who are ready to do that, being able to utilize that in their own voice, the way that they feel is best for them. And obviously, success looks like ending Black maternal, health inequities. So ending the Black maternal health crisis.
Yeah, the services WeBe provides, by the way, they're free, but they want to keep it that way, so they could use donations. Dr. Brown says they also just want you to spread the word so they can help more women. For more information, just head to their website. It's webenc.org.
I think that they need more of these across the country because it is a horror what goes on with Black mothers and children just trying to bring life into this world. So I just wanted to bring you guys that as I usually do. Now they care about the children so much, but can you tell? Can you even tell? Oh, and that young man who was hung in Mississippi yesterday, come to find out, remember I told you that something had happened at that school prior that I had reported on? It was the story about him and his friends walking in I think it was on homecoming week. They have a lot of traffic going up and down the streets during homecoming, and they called him the N-word. And when he reported it, it wasn't taken seriously, and he was insisting that they report it, and they either arrested the one who made the complaint, or they threatened to arrest him. I'll bring the story up tomorrow. He was that guy, gentleman, was the cousin of the Black man that they found hanging from a tree. Now, there were allegations that both of his arms and one of his legs were broken, but the coroner is denying that. They are going to have the family is having their own independent autopsy. They told the family that he had passed away and he had died in his dorm. They later found out on the news that he was found hanging from a tree. Now let's hear from his cousin, who had racial instances crop up all the time in this school, and while this school is trying to downplay it. And understand, this school does have Black police officers as well. Campus
just by the wayside, like many others that are very similar to it. Let's go ahead and get started, you guys. Maybe you guys know what I'm talking about. It was a tragedy happening down at Delta State University down in Mississippi.
The name Trayvon Reed needs to ring all over the United States right now. 1, that is my cousin. 2, this is the second incident that has occurred within the last 5 years at this campus. Delta State University has had a run-in with me and their policemen. They tried to lock me up for no reason, and it didn't succeed in their favor. Just today, it was reported that my cousin was found hanging from a tree, and they trying to rule it as a suicide. Now, I just got off the phone with one of my cousins. She said she seen the reports, and it said that he was beaten and bruised. Both his arms were broken, and he had a broken leg. I'm gonna let y'all do the math.
They saw the cousin of Trey Reed, who was found apparently what seems to be violently hung from a tree down in Mississippi on the campus of Delta State University, where he went to school. There, his cousin was talking about how he spoke to his other cousin, who also had seen or heard about violent bruising and potentially broken bones on him. I'm gonna let his cousin continue to speak about what it is that he knows.
Now, this school has history for being racist. Even going all the way back to the 1980 situation that happened with the sit-in. I'm trying to be composed in this video, and I'm trying to keep it all together. But it's a lot of shit that happens on that campus that don't nobody do shit about. It was incidents before my big incident happened, and that I reported that nobody did nothing about. Somebody tried to report me for a hate crime, and they was the one being homophobic, transphobic, and being racist. And they was trying to lock me up until I had multiple people come out and speak against him. There was an incident that I reported that it was a group of white students in a white truck while I was a freshman. They yelled at me and my friends and called us a bunch of monkeys. Please do a deep dive on this. Please, 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 please do your research on this. Do not let them sweep nothing else under the rug. Enough is enough.
He's talking the way someone who's experienced previous instances of conflicts, confrontations, and racism on that campus or in the nearby areas being swept under the rug. It's almost like he's not just making it up out of nowhere. But this is the thing, our approach to these types of stories always just goes by the wayside. Whatever, something else just happened. Actually, not even that much. Like I said, when I first saw this from a couple of folks that were just telling me about it, there was no full news coverage on it. There wasn't even local news coverage on it that I could see. I feel like it's something that is a good indicator of what we choose to pay attention to, who we think is important versus who we don't think is important. So finally, NBC News did have something that they did talk about it.
Authorities say the body of 21-year-old Dematravion Trey Reed was found hanged from a tree by a faculty member near the pickleball courts. Word spread quickly throughout the Cleveland campus, leaving students and others concerned and worried.
Well, because I am a Black student, hearing that happened to another Black student, it really made me feel, it's make me feel unsafe.
I do have to walk to class, and I like to go walk on the track, and it would be happy to know like what happened.
Local and state investigators immediately started looking into the incident. DSU Police Chief Michael Peeler says investigators found no evidence of foul play.
But pending an investigation, further investigation, and also from the medical examiner's office, we won't have more information until that part has been done.
People are looking for urgency and a sense of importance being placed on the life of someone that potentially was murdered. And then, of course, in the manner in which they found his body, being very particular to the way we've seen our country's history regularly do these things. These are the types of things that I think need to be highlighted to point out, since they want to keep telling about it, how far we've come, that there's still a lot of these issues happening in our country, even if it doesn't result in these types of conclusions. As again, Trey's cousin was talking about, he's had his issues with folks around there, but because he's not dead, we shouldn't care about it. But look at the way that they handled this investigation. Let me tell you guys the details of how this went down and reasons why maybe people don't trust many stories that get told to them. Vanessa Jones of the Jones Law Firm, who's representing that Reed family, told the media that the family's still waiting for some answers. Doesn't make much sense, does it? The family does not know exactly what happened on September 15th, she said. We're seeking answers from Delta State University. We're seeking answers from the coroner's office. So imagine, you find your family member there in that state, and this is the response you get from authorities. The investigation is conducted by the Cleveland Police Department. Sure, as of this time, he said, there's no evidence of foul play. While there's no evidence of foul play, the body has been retrieved by the Bolivar County Coroner's Office. And according to the Mississippi Free Press, Bolivar County Deputy Coroner Murray Rourke, who assisted that medical examination of his body, said that there was no evidence of broken arms or legs, despite what it is that his family member had said to his other family member. Last quote here. I don't think I should probably discuss this any further than that. My opinion is that it was self-done, and I have reasons for that, is what he said, despite the death still being in this act. Of investigation. So he wants to come forward and make sure people don't jump to conclusions because of what he's seen already. But he said it's his opinion. I'm not sure if that's the medical opinion. I'm not sure if that's conclusions of the autopsy. We'll see. But here's probably one of the worst aspects of this with his family. Vanessa Jones of that law firm criticized Delta State University and Bolivar County officials, who we just talked about, telling the Mississippi Free Press that both had left the Reed family completely in the dark after the discovery of Trey Reed's body, failing to properly communicate with them in their darkest moment. The lawyer said that the media knew about Trey's death before the family did. Why is that? It gives energy to this thought that they don't care, that it's going to go out to the media first, while they maybe, I don't know, don't fully investigate, don't fully take care of the crime scene, the potential crime scene, so they can really give answers to this man's family. You have to be concerned about people's lives. You have to care about the folks that are around them. You have to say things like, not that Reed had this, but we've been saying this recently. He's leaving behind a wife and 2 young children. He had a mother, he had a father, he had sisters, he had cousins. They're going to be in mourning for a very long time over this kind of death. And we just want to bring them justice and a resolution to their grief and their pain. Doesn't that sound familiar to things that we've been saying recently? But we don't always say that. In fact, sometimes authorities go to the media before they even go to that family that apparently don't care about or thinks that they don't need to know much. And a confusing incident occurred the morning of Trey's death. The Grenada County Sheriff's Department arrived at Trey's family's home and informed the family that Trey was found dead in his dorm room in his bed. So it's obvious that now that they're reporting he was hung from a tree in the middle of campus somewhere. But the sheriff's department, at first, when they first decided to talk to his family, said that he was in his bedroom in his dorm, and that's where he passed away. So if you've seen, this has been the theme, I feel like we should keep going with this thought process. Just remember this. If you've seen someone blatantly lie to you about this particular situation, why would you believe anything else they've said to you? They're going to have to redeem themselves. If the authorities lied to you blatantly about how your kid, your brother, your cousin was found, wouldn't you go, I don't trust you anymore? Why did you lie to me? Why isn't that the automatic thought process for everybody that sees something like this? So now there's dispute over the potential bruises and lacerations to his body, and also including the broken bones. The coroner's office and them are vehemently claiming that there were none of those. Maybe there weren't. But again, why should I believe you? You've already lied from the beginning. In a place where there has been violence, there has been racial tensions, and then this kind of thing happening. Again, this happened at Mississippi, Delta State University down in Mississippi. But did you guys hear about from some of these HBCUs and some of the responses they've had as there was a nationwide response to that killing last week that forced this?
At least 6 historically black colleges have halted activities after receiving potential threats against their campuses. The lockdown measures come in the wake of yesterday's shooting of Charlie Kirk.
We're tracking now at least 7 of these HBCUs that have been under lockdown in the past 24 hours following that assassination of Charlie Kirk. That includes Alabama State, Hampton, Virginia State, Southern, Bethune-Cookman, Clark Atlanta, and also Spelman. The FBI has released a statement. I don't know if we have a full screen of it, but it does say that the FBI takes these threats very seriously because it puts innocent people at risk. While we have no information to indicate a credible threat, we will continue to work with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners to gather, share, and act upon threat information.
So HBCUs on lockdown, multiple HBCUs on lockdown because of threats that came from folks who decided to go in the middle of Huntington Beach or then go to vigils and get to chanting about how they're going to fight back against some enemy that they didn't know who it was. And once they discovered who it was, the race war was off. If you think about the sudden knee-jerk reaction to want to go to threatening college campuses, particular college campuses, you might realize that the attention is always on certain folks when they want violence in this country. But when the violence is carried out on them, the attention goes away real quick. They don't care anymore. And since they're losing these arguments that they like to say they want to have, these debates and these political conversations, this is how this administration has approached the facts behind what it is we keep seeing. 404 Media has reported that in the aftermath of Kirk's murder, Trump's Justice Department deleted a study from its website stating that right-wing violence continues to outpace all other types of terrorism and domestic violent extremism in the U.S. This comes as the Trump administration and Republicans completely and utterly blame political violence solely on the left. The study was available online at least until Friday. That's according to 404 Media, who reported this, but can now only be found from a Wayback Machine link. They somehow think in 2025, no one can find these things that they're deleting, which even highlights the fact that they have this objective to delete it. This study that was published in 2024 and conducted by the National Institute of Justice is titled "What NIJ Research Tells Us About Domestic Terrorism." The first words in this study are militant, nationalistic, violent extremism has increased in the U.S. In fact, the number of far-right attacks continues to outpace all other types of terrorism and domestic violence extremism. Since 1990, Far-right extremists have committed far more ideologically motivated homicides than far-left or radical Islamist extremists, including 227 events that took more than 520 lives. And in the same period, far-left extremists committed 42 ideologically motivated attacks that took 78 lives. But if you have this conversation with someone who's believing in fascism and wants everything that Donald Trump and these guys are carrying out to be solidified and normalized further in our society, you'll just be spinning your wheels because they're going to stick their fingers in their ears and close their eyes and go la 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 la.
Oh God, I was on mute all the time. They are inverting the facts on that. It's been taken down. I gave you that report yesterday. I think it was on Megyn Kelly's on Pierce Morgan show yesterday, where Megyn Kelly said only 4% of political violence has been committed by the far right, when that is the inverted number. Now, let me what has not been spoken about a lot is that they have video, allegedly have video of his body hanging from the tree. So if they have video of his body hanging from the tree, they should have information of how his body got in the tree to hang. So let me read this to you. Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay. Chief says investigators have video of Black student hanging from tree at Delta State University. This was published on September 17, 2025. Cleveland videos of a Black student found hanging in a tree at Delta State University early this week have been turned over to investigators, the campus police chief said Wednesday. But the chief did not say what the videos show. So are they gonna chop and screw these videos? I don't know. Okay, CNN didn't mention anything about these videos. I mentioned something about these videos. Goddamn it, I am not being paid millions of dollars to give the news that CNN has is privy to. If they even bother to ask a question, no, they are taking these narratives and presenting them to you as informing you. Okay, so Chief Michael Peeler said he could not answer several questions about the investigation into the death of 21-year-old Trey Reed, Grenada, Mississippi. The tragedy swiftly captured the scrutiny of the state and the nation, with some speculating that this was another example of Mississippi racist history of lynching of Black people. However, the chief stood by his earlier statements that there appears to be no foul play. Peeler said that he was the second officer from the Delta State Police Department on the scene, so he's going to reassure us with his Blackness. Reed was found at the scene after Reed was found, and he saw the body. Okay. Bovier County Coroner Randolph Rudy Seals Jr. said Monday that Reed had no broken bones and did not appear to have been assaulted. Mississippi Chief Examiner Stacey Turner was conducting an autopsy of Reed's body, and preliminary results should be released within 2 days, Peeler said on Wednesday. Delta, but they've already said that he don't have no broken bones. I guess they coroners. I don't know. And the coroner report has not even been released yet. Okay. Delta State President Dan Ennis recognized that this case touched a nerve, and he defended the school from accusations of racism. There's no racism in a Mississippi college. I defend that there is no racism in a Mississippi college that has a history of racism. Okay. Richard Wright said that history comes on us. It surges up, and it is and it fused and tangled. And also, I acknowledge that this imagery is fused and tangled in people's identities, not just black people identities. Do you not understand that it is tangled in white people's identities as well? So we are supposed to be we are being chastised about what our history has taught us, but it's not fused and tangled in the memories of the people who did this, whose ancestors did this type of things. Oh, they're beyond this, and we are the only ones that let it bubble up inside. Do you think that it's not bubbling up inside of these people that feel that black people are taking their spots? Do you feel that this does not bubble up inside? I don't think Delta University is a black college. I think it's just a college. It's not a historically black college, as from what I remember. Okay, so Richard Wright said that the history comes up on us. It surges up and it is fused and tangled. And also, I acknowledge that this imagery is fused and tangled in people's identities, said an emotional Ennis. Sometimes we cannot unknow it. We can't untangle it, but there is one of the best places to start is to pick a knot and to acknowledge that situation and build off of it. What the fuck are you talking about? Okay. So this is who they put. This is who they put in the forefront to say that dumb shit. Law enforcement presence on campus increased after several people made threatening calls to the university. However, Peeler and Ennis emphasized that the campus is safe. At this point, we don't have any credible threat that I am aware of. You just said that you got some threats and you had to beef up policing. But now all of a sudden, in saying that, you're not aware of any threats. Okay. At this point, we don't have any credible threats that I am aware of, and law enforcement will let me know, and it said, but it does not mean it doesn't hurt when someone calls the office and say that that is a terrible place. That this is a terrible place, and that people should be heard. Ennis also addressed the statement from the attorney Reed's family that the university did not reach out to them. He said the university had been in contact with the next of kin listed on the contact form. Ennis did not reveal who these people were, but said the university could cooperate would cooperate with any investigation into Reed's death. So he didn't want to talk about that. I contacted the family. Did not say you didn't contact them. They said that you contacted them and said he was dead in his bed, but you're not talking about that. It also acknowledged that there is a distinction between the next of kin and family, and I acknowledge that both next of kin and family are grieving, he said. It's their fault. They're grieving. They didn't tell you what I really told you, but I ain't gonna tell you what I told them. Stacey Starling, Reed's aunt, addressed reporters after the press conference, but did not answer any question. We just ask that you continue to just lift us up in your prayers. Thoughts and prayers. We thank you. Did the president of the university give out some thoughts and prayers? Did the police officer give out some thoughts and prayers for you while not debunking the fact that it was said that he died in his bed when he was lynched? They found him about 6 o'clock in the morning, and they say that they contacted somebody in the family, next of kin or whatever, at 9:15 in the morning. Okay. We ask that you just continue to lift us up in your prayers. We thank you, and God bless each and every one of you, she said before joining other relatives and friends in a prayer circle. Reed bodies was found hanging from a tree early Monday near the pickleball courts. Now, pickleball, that says something within itself. Okay. I don't know. I know you want to fit in, motherfuckers. Y'all have picked up pickleball as well. So there, whatever. Okay, okay. Reed's race in the manner of his death triggered an outcry outline about Mississippi history of racist violence and rattled the university's community. Democratic Representative Bernie Thompson called the FBI to investigate Reed's death. Reed family was retained by lawyers Ben Crump and Vanessa Jones, and they are launching their own independent investigation. Reed's death is being investigated by police from Delta State and Cleveland and Bolivar County Sheriff Department and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. So I'm sure that the cops will have nothing to say but some shit that is unrealistic, since all of these Mississippi departments are investigating it. And thank God, these are the only people investigating it. Somebody said that the FBI should be called out, but if you saw Kash Patel presentation on yesterday, you would thank your gods that the FBI is not being called out on this. So I have. Do you ever wonder, has it ever struck you why it is that it is always these recently, let's say recently, it has been a lot of MAGA supporters, people in different areas of office that have been caught in these SAing of children. I don't know if you have heard about this, and this is under the link. Funny how pedos keep coming to light on the right. I don't know if you heard about the latest pedo who has come to light, but let me tell you a little bit about this pedo. He's a comedian. I wonder if the FCC has banned this comedian. He had a show set up. They said they may have to reschedule the show, but how come the FCC is not banning this comedian? Did you guys hear about this comedian? And it is some disturbing shit that they have arrested him for it. Let's get into it.
Him on multiple counts of second and third degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Reap one. He was arrested on Friday after a grand jury indicted him on multiple counts of second and third degree sexual exploitation of a minor. Reap won last comic standing with the most votes on NBC. He was also in Netflix's Brad Paisley's Comedy Rodeo. The venue, like the last show he was supposed to do, it has been canceled. And I think the venue even said they might issue a refund or they'll see about rescheduling.
Hey, it's Jordan with Status Coup on the ground. I am in Flint, Michigan, East Palestine, Ohio, Tumwa, Iowa. Please support the leading independent news outlet on the ground covering what the corporate media covers up.
What's up, everybody? Ron Placone here reporting for Status Coup. So this story is in the comedy world. And as someone who is part of the comedy world, I will also tell you that this story has a little bit of a personal experience of mine that ties in.
Answer something for me. All of this in the comedy world that is going on about Jimmy Kimmel's joke. But have you heard any of this about the comedy world being unacceptable, going too far? How come, since we want to talk about what comedians are doing that make people uncomfortable, there have been no reporting on the for-profit media about this comedian? Ask yourself this.
Here, we'll do the story first, and then I'll bring in the personal component. Hickory native comedian arrested on multiple sex crime charges. So this deals with the comedian John Reap. John Reap, he was the Hemi guy in those commercials, if you remember that. And he's been on some Netflix shows. He's had some specials out. So John Reap, a famous comedian from Hickory, and he's from Hickory, North Carolina, which is, I believe, where this outlet's from here. He was arrested on Friday after a grand jury indicted him on multiple counts of second and third degree sexual exploitation of a minor. On April 15th, the Hickory Police Department received an Internet Crimes Against Children cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children about children's sexual abuse material, police said. By the way, I should have mentioned this earlier, but I will say it now. Trigger warning. This does deal with sex crimes, and they go into a little more detail here coming up. I'm going to read it. So, yeah, if such a thing is difficult or triggering for you, this is the warning. The account associated with this cyber tip belonged to Reap. So there's his mugshot. That's comedian John Reap.
I have no idea.
There was a
who
search
he
warrant
is.
at the location linked to the IP address from the cyber tip. Electronic devices were seized during the execution of the search warrant, and digital forensic analysis of these devices and other online communications were completed. The case was presented to the grand jury of Catawba. I don't even know how you would say that. Catawba, probably Catawba, right? Anyway, Catawba County on Tuesday, and a true bill indictment was issued for Reap for the following charges: 1 count of second-degree sexual exploitation of a minor, 9 counts of third-degree sexual exploitation of a minor. This is the kind of hard part, y'all. They involve minors between 1 and 14 years old. So I guess some...
The ages of 1 and 14 years old. But there is no rumblings about this. Nothing. A flat nothing. They never want to put this type of degradation on the for-profit media when it happens on the right. Okay. Let's continue.
This material was babies, which I don't even know. Wow. I don't know how sick you have to be to. Anyway, Reap faced a magistrate Friday afternoon in Newton and bonded out of jail soon after. He had a comedy show slated for Friday night in Goldsboro, North Carolina, but it was rescheduled.
What about all the complaints about letting these dangerous people out on bond? When they want to talk about black people getting bond. What about all of these dangerous people that they don't want out on the street? However, he was allowed to make bond. They're not even talking about the story, let alone that somebody has been able to make bond on these charges. Let's continue.
Reap won Last Comic Standing with the most votes on NBC. He was also in Netflix's Brad Paisley's Comedy Rodeo, and he has a stand-up special on Amazon Prime called Ginger Beard Man. One of his classmates spoke up here and said,
"So, is Amazon Prime and Netflix, are they going to take his stuff down as if nothing happened, or are they going to leave it up?" Let's continue.
That they went to high school.
Should Amazon and Netflix be facing a loss of their licenses as well, of their programming licenses as well? This is far worse than anything Jimmy Kimmel did. Where's the FCC on this? Where is the FCC talking about how dangerous this person is, and why if they don't remove him, they're going to take their licenses? Where is the FCC on this? I'm going to have to go back through this and Google if his material has been taken off of all these servers. How about that?
With him. Yeah. So this is a developing story as of right now, and we don't really know where things are going to land, but it's not.
Are they going to take NBC license since he became prominent on their show, The Last Comic Standing? FCC guy. You there, FCC guy? I got questions.
looking good for John Reep. His website is currently down. Like, his website's not active as of the recording of this, at least. He has not issued any.
Child, he must be lingering over in the beef sector. Soon as a motherfucker have some controversy, camera slip, or in the midst of some bullshit that they can't defend, what they do, they snatch their pages down. All he did was some beef sector bullshit. Snatched his hid his content, hid his pages.
Any kind of statement. He's not been active on social media, and his show at the venue, like the last show he was supposed to do, it has been canceled. And I think the venue even said they might issue a refund or they'll see about rescheduling. Like, they didn't say anything like, we're gonna wait and see if I is a criminal and belongs in jail. They said, like, well, we'll see if we reschedule or just refund people. Like, this is.
Let's give him a chance. Let's give him a chance. We're not gonna be all willy nilly, and we're not gonna be all extreme with this MAGA supporting person who has been arrested on these charges. No. Let's wait and see.
This side note, y'all, a lot of live venues, and in particular in the comedy world, that they are just the most moralist like places in the world, and they don't care as long as you're selling tickets. They don't care who you are or what you've done. Are you putting butts in the seat? That's fine. There are literal neo-Nazi comics out there now. Not embellishing. Literal neo-Nazis are comedians right now, and they're touring, and venues are hosting them because they're selling tickets, and that's all that matters to them. It's amazing. Like, it's amazing because there's this big white right-wing rise in comedy right now. And it's because, honestly, I think most of the comedians that occupy that niche, I bet most of them don't even have those beliefs. They just realize it's an easy way to make a buck.
But wait a minute. We have to make sure that comedy is safe. And if people don't like it, then there should be a retribution for them out here slinging vile stuff that make people feel uncomfortable. That's what the FCC chair said. But I guess he doesn't. I guess he is not over comedy stores.
There's tons of money on the right, and that goes for comedy too. So like a lot of these comedians, you look into it, and it's like they were doing something else. They weren't always like, oh, I've always been super right wing. No, they were doing something else. It wasn't working. So all of a sudden they jump on this anti-woke, alt-right bandwagon, and they start making a ton of money. And they're like, yeah, I'll play this fiddle. Why not? So anyway,
Hey, pays.
That's a side note here. But here's the personal anecdote in all this. I opened up for John Reep once many years ago. I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and I was one of the openers, and John was the headliner that weekend. And to give you like a little bit of a just perspective to kind of set the table, when you are doing a weekend at a comedy club, a lot of times you and the other comics spend a good amount of time together. Sometimes you're doing multiple shows a night, so you spend a lot of time in the green room throughout the weekend. You make small talk, you kind of get to know each other. Sometimes you might grab dinner beforehand, or you might go out afterwards. So it's a bit of a bonding experience in a way. And it's really cool, especially when headliners are in from out of town and you're the local up and coming comedian, and you get to talk to them, and they have some advice for you, and they'll give you their phone number, and they'll say, hey, look me up if you're ever in LA. And it's a cool thing. It's a fun, exciting thing. And so John was the headliner that weekend. And, John was a friendly guy. I mean, he was fine. He was nice. I was not his favorite person in the green room. Like we didn't talk a whole lot. He would be more outgoing with other people. If it was just me and him, he wasn't super talkative, but I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh, maybe we just, didn't connect as well, like whatever. Until one night, and this was what made me come to the conclusion that John did not like me. So we went out to the bars, after the show. Now, this was in Nashville, Tennessee, so we went down to Broadway, which for anyone who doesn't know, Broadway is the big touristy area that's like the Bourbon Street of Nashville is Broadway. And most of the people you see on Broadway, if they are locals, it's either because they have friends in from out of town or they are working. Like locals don't really go down to Broadway. It's just but it's a good time. It's party central, whatever. And I think you can have open containers there now, but you couldn't at the time. I actually don't know. I mean, don't quote me on that, but I think they might have had. Anyway, it's not important. So we go to Broadway, and then we're in this bar, and it is packed to the brim. And John decides he's going to buy a drink for everybody. And he's like, hey, I'm going to buy beers for everyone. And so he's buying everyone's drink. And then he gets to me, and he points to me like he's at the bar, and I'm like some feet back, right? And it's wall-to-wall people. And he goes, you want something? And I go, sure, man, I'll have a beer, thanks. And what he does, he doesn't order my beer. What he does instead is he like helps get me in front of the bar. Like he makes space at the bar so that I can get to the bar. And then I get to the bar where he was, and he takes the other drinks and leaves. And then I order my drink. So he basically went out of his way to make it clear he was not buying my drink, and he bought drinks for everybody else. And, you know, in that moment, I felt a little weird, a little embarrassed. I mean, I was,
Okay, so you can hear the rest of his telling. I thought he had more information that he was giving than that. But that's all I have for you today. Hey, Madison, thank you for joining me. I am on my way out. Please go back through. I have some interesting information. Let me, I'm going to end this live right now. And if you like it, please make sure that you hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And I want to leave this with you. It seems like the United States is going backwards, and I also want to leave this with you because the IDF has definitely said that Israel is committing genocide. And if you didn't know about all the kidnapped children throughout the history of Israel and Palestine, a lot of this stuff is kind of self-evident. Okay, somebody hit the link. Hold on, who is this? Let me cover this up. I don't know who Hey is. Let me be sure I put my banner up and see who this is. Let me see. Oh, Cindy Belize, Bizarre. I don't know what Cindy want. Probably some bullshit. Yes, Cindy.
No, I'm not just one no bullshit. I always watch you from above. Why would you say I would come here for some bullshit? No, I respected you and stuff like that.
Well,
And
thank you. I appreciate your support, Cindy.
you're welcome. I really like the fact that you are enlightening people, and like I said, every morning I do watch you and stuff like that. It's like when it comes to people from the Caribbean, a lot of people think like, oh yeah, you know what, people from the Caribbean and stuff like that, they don't like Black Americans. That's not true. That is not true and stuff. So it's like now, um, a lot of people are seeing what has been in front of our eyes and all, and then education, and people are listening, and what I'm seeing is just
I can't hear you. You're a little muddled. Speak up a little bit. The last things you said, the little things. Education. What did you say after that?
education, stick together, and don't be fooled by the okie dokie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're doing, you know. So just keep on educating, keep on letting people know what they're doing is wrong.
Oh, I intend to. I intend to.
Yeah, I'm not a bad person. No. I just have
No.
some attitude problem. But
You have your quirks, but I appreciate your support, and I appreciate you saying that. I hope more people will finally wake up because the our community here in the United States among Black people is so treacherous right now. I hope people who have families lean on their families, support each other, because we are definitely going to need our family members and each other. And I also hope that people who see people out here faltering will bring them in if they know they have nobody, because it is time to get back. It has never been time for us to get back on cue, but it is definitely a time for us as Black people to get on cue and stay on point, because we are in a bad situation.
uh,
Anything in closing, Cindy?
no, I really appreciate you, and then I apologize for all of the things that I've done and stuff like that. Because people didn't understand where I was coming from, right? Um, People just like right now, um, those they try to each other, but they don't know how to. So therefore, they have to bring another party, to be in the middle and everything like that. So once you understand, like mental issues, I'm not saying I am mental, but I'm just saying once you understand, like, what they're doing, you're like, oh, okay. Um, it's not about black and brown people. It's about them. They don't know how to say, oh yeah, I did this. I'm sorry, or it's not about you guys. It's about us. And
It's about the haves and the haves not. This is not it. This everything about this is about the money.
not only that too, it's all about when it comes to they have, like, okay, you know what, in the black community, right, we have Christian, right, and then they they have this belief of, well, we cannot do no wrong,
Okay,
and
Cindy. Okay, Cindy. I appreciate you coming up and sharing your thoughts with it. A lot of uh, we have the Jewish who feel that they can do no wrong as well. All of this is about white supremacy and money. I'll put it that way, in my opinion. Ruling other people over people who they want, who definitely help build society, but they want to pretend like they are less than, and they don't want them to get on a even footing with them. And I am going to play this video about Israel that is explaining just that. Anything, final words, Sydney?
no, one thing I want to say, I want to say to you very much that you allow me to come on your panel and
All
stuff
right, it
like
was
that.
nice having you, and hang out, and check out this video.
Oh,
I think it will be enlightening.
okay, thanks.
All right, have a good one. All right, so that was Sydney. I'm going to play this on my way out. You will find correlations that happen in Israel, the same thing that happened in America's history. Maybe that's why they are lockstep with each other and what's happening in Palestine. And let's continue.
Going missing, kidnapped by Israelis. You might have heard about children in Gaza going missing, kidnapped by Israeli soldiers. It's so evil, it sounds utterly absurd. But Israel's done this kind of thing before. I'm talking about a mass kidnapping that happened when Israel declared itself a state, when thousands of children disappeared and never returned. But they weren't Palestinian, they were Jewish.
It started as a rumor. Later on, it became a myth.
What is considered to be one of the largest cover-ups in the history of Israel.
This horrific crime and its cover-up tell us everything we need to know about Zionism and the core philosophy that's connected to every other colonial reality in the world. Let me explain.
Israel's independence.
It's 1948. Zionist militias have just razed hundreds of Palestinian villages, displaced 750,000 Palestinians, and declared Israel a state. At this stage, there are about 650,000 Jews living there. A minority were Palestinian Jews who'd been living there for ages, but the majority were recent settlers who'd moved to Palestine as part of the Zionist project. And most of these old-timers, as they'd come to be known, were Central or Eastern European, or what's called Ashkenazi Jews. They pioneered the Zionist movement, made up the militias that orchestrated the Nakba, and served in Israel's first political parties and government. Now that they had succeeded in establishing a Zionist state, they needed to start filling it with more settlers.
They came from the displaced persons camps in Europe.
But all these European Jews weren't enough to colonize and work all the land that they had taken. If Israel wanted to be a viable state, it would need more Jews. So the Zionist entity had to look to the Arab world. See, there had always been Arab Jews living in Yemen, Iraq, Libya, Syria, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Egypt, as well as in non-Arab countries like Iran and Turkey. But these Jews, Mizrahi Jews as they'd come to be known, came from a very different context. Ashkenazi Jews had been facing anti-Semitism, pogroms, and persecution in Europe for centuries, which is the environment that gave birth to the colonial Zionist project, and the feeling that there needed to be a Jewish homeland for Jewish safety in the first place. Mizrahi Jews, on the other hand, had been coexisting with their neighbors for centuries and were part of society. But the colonial creation of Israel ruptured these centuries-old relations, leading to Israeli rescue missions that airlifted them into the colony. And the story behind the huge covered-up crime this video is about starts with one rescue in particular. Operation Magic Carpet. Yes, name.
Here is a place where a miracle occurred. 5,000 Jews escaping terror and slavery in the backward Arab state of Yemen.
Yemeni Jews weren't slaves, they were just poor, like most non-Jewish Yemenis were. In fact, Yemeni Jews had been living there for centuries and had chosen to move to Israel because they wanted to flee poverty and had bought into the biblical narrative. Meanwhile, in Israel, these Yemeni Jews were seen as unclean, primitive, backwards, and a threat to the European civilized image that Israel was trying to build. Ben-Gurion, Israel's prime minister at the time, had described Mizrahi Jews as rabble and would later say, "We don't want Israelis to become Arabs. It is incumbent upon us to struggle against the spirit of the Levant, which corrupts individuals and societies." But the Yemenis were still brought in. Why? One Zionist leader said that while Ashkenazi Jews were better suited for city work, Yemeni Jews would do well with agriculture because they, quote, need very little. They'd been tested already, decades before. Yemeni Jews had been brought in by early Zionist settlers when they realized they couldn't work the land well, and they had glowing reviews. Hence, Operation Magic Carpet. Israel took what was essentially the mass import of cheap labor and spun it into an Orientalist white savior story of rescue and redemption.
And with each step you pass from the dark ages to the present century, from bondage to freedom.
This racist, supremacist attitude Ashkenazis had towards Mizrahi Jews sets the scene for what happens next. These are the absorption camps where almost
Sound familiar? Isn't that why they went to Africa and brought Africans to the United States and stripped them of? We're going to find out what they stripped these Jews of to bring them to Israel. And they needed a workforce because they couldn't work their own land. Doesn't this sound familiar? Colonizing.
50,000 Yemeni Jews were sent once they arrived in Israel. Tent cities with awful sanitation, where their belongings were taken, they were secularized, and forced to adopt new Hebrew names, abandon their languages and their culture. Ben Gurion said, the aim of the government is to inculcate the Yemeni immigrant.
Now that must sound familiar. Living in slums, you know, kind of like the slave cabins, having to take on new names and forget their former language and learn a whole new language. This is in the 1940s. I think it's in the 1940s. Yes. Let's continue.
With Israeli values to the point where he forgets where he came from. So Yemeni Jews were seen as people who needed to be civilized into the Israeli way of being, but at the same time as a people who would, quote, never fully achieve modernity. This turned them into infants in the eyes of the Ashkenazi absorbers, thus taking over every decision regarding Mizrahim, and their children seemed natural. That brings us to the kidnapping. Between 1948 and the early 1950s, thousands of babies disappeared. This happened to lots of non-European Jewish families, but the majority were Yemeni. It happened in several ways. When Yemeni Jews arrived at the absorption camps, their babies were taken from them forcefully to structures called baby houses, under the pretense that these places were in better condition than the unhygienic camps. And from these baby houses, many children disappeared. Or they disappeared from hospitals when taken there for routine treatment. There were also cases of Yemeni mothers giving birth, their child being taken away by a nurse, and then never seen again.
ילדתי ילד, ילדתי חתול, עכבר, מה ילדתי? תראו לי אותו. למה אתם לא מראים לי כלום? גברת זרקנו. במילים האלה, גברת זרקנו.
Across each scenario, the story was pretty much the same. Parents were told their child had died, but were shown no body, no grave, and no death certificate. Many of these parents believed that their children had not died, but had been taken away from them, and put up for adoption, or sold to childless Ashkenazi couples.
אמרתי לו, אוקיי, בסדר, מת, אז תני לי לראות אותו פעם אחת, וזהו, ללטף אותו, לעשות לו משהו. היא עושה לי לא.
For years, these families campaigned for the truth and for justice, but were met with claims of myth and conspiracy. Decades later, some people were able to reconnect with their missing children through DNA tests.
After years of research, he found his biological mother, who was told, he says, that he had died during birth. He never told his adoptive parents he knew. They were Holocaust survivors.
Eventually, testimonies from those involved surfaced. One former senior nurse testified that Yemeni parents were not interested in their children, and that they should have been happy that their child got a good education. Another nurse told a Yemeni woman, "You have lots of children. Why not let us take one of them?"
נלקחו שם ילדים לאימהות צעירות מאוד שבאו ללדת. פשוט נעלמו הילדים, הם הוזמנו.
There are plenty of damning testimonies gathered by an NGO called Amram that suggest that this was systematic and widespread. And yet, 3 different government commissions over the course of decades claimed that most children had died, and that there was no evidence the state was involved. During one of these investigations, requests for birth and burial records disappeared, reported to have been destroyed by fires or floods. That coincidence was not investigated, and hundreds of thousands of documents from that inquiry were then classified. Only in 2016 was this issue finally acknowledged at the state level.
White people met here colored people and were supposed to be the same nation. They saw them as a problem that needs to be solved, and part of the solution was to take the children out they will have a better life. Their identity will not be Middle Eastern, they will be sort of Europeans with dark skin.
It's a horrifying story, but it's not unique. Colonizers across the world have done this. From Australia to Canada to Belgium to France, the forcible removal of children and their re-education is standard practice for colonizers. And it's because despite their distance and space from one another, all these places share one core philosophy: white supremacy. It doesn't matter that the Mizrahi Jews were also settlers there to colonize the indigenous Palestinian population. They weren't white, and that made them vulnerable to their own cultural genocide. It's the extension and continuation of a long-held policy that the Zionist entity was built on. There's more details to this story that I didn't get to. If you're interested in learning more, you can check out our Patreon for more information.
Okay.
Who fired you?
The president
That
fired
is
me.
all I have to share with you guys on today. And that may hey SB, thank you for being here. Hey Madison, that I may give you a little insight into why Yemen is fighting so hard to keep supplies out of Israel. I think it's in the Red Sea. I think it's in the Red Sea where Hexeth and the United States lost 2 planes by their own fucking up, and lost 2 multi-million dollar planes in the ocean trying to help Israel. Maybe understand that Yemen is trying to clog up any ships getting through there to stop what Israel is doing in Palestine. So that may give you, it gave me more insight why the people in Yemen was trying to stop the slaughter of the Palestinians. Maybe that will give you more insight, and understand that of course the United States government would be on the colonizer's side. So I hope you guys have a great remainder of your night. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'll be here tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. I do have something to do. I'll play it by ear. If you see me set up a live, I'll set it up a half hour before I go live. I thank you all for being here. God bless you and good night.